All right, who's ready for the Dirt Life Show?
Yeah, welcome to episode 105 of the Dirt Life Show. We really appreciate you guys joining us today. It is Monday night, just after the UTV World Championships, and man, 105 episodes is awesome. This is going to be a super cool recap of the whole UTV World Championships. We're at IMG Motorsports today, back in Southern California, with my buddy James Hill right here. No
Good
big deal,
evening,
Hill.
everyone.
And look who just joined us, Jimmy Bra 333.
What's up, Jimmy?
So we're going to have an awesome show for you guys tonight. We're going to do a bunch of Instagram Live stuff, so you can always check us out on any of the platforms. Instagram Live, Facebook, and YouTube are all working pretty good tonight. So, man, I'm pretty stoked on the technology that we got going tonight. UTV World Championships just happened this past weekend. There was so many people and so much cool stuff that went on. I was pretty stoked to be there. I got the opportunity to actually talk on the live broadcast. That was fun, learn the behind-the-scenes stuff. James over here, he went for a one-lap ride with me on, it, Wednesday or Thursday, and also went on a one-lap ride, unfortunately, on Saturday as well. So we're going to talk about that. We have some special guests that are going to join us today. The Youth 1000 winner, Ethan Groom's going to join us. Maddie Wedeking was just straight slaying this weekend, so she's going to join us as well. Justin Smith from Shock Therapy is going to join us. JD Marsh, Jay Drizzle. Mm-hmm. He won the production the Pro NA class, they call it.
Shout out Team Pandemonium.
What is Team Pandemonium?
That's the crew, man.
Is it?
You're going to have to get more in depth with him.
Dude, I will. Team Pandemonium, that's a good one, dude.
Those boys go.
Ryan Edwards over at KMC, he's going to join us at 6:30. And Phil, Blurton, and Bo Judge, as well as Dustin Jones, are all going to join us after 6 o'clock after the commercial break as well. So that's going to be pretty gnarly when those guys all come on together. And then to round out the show, we're going to get a little bit more of the behind the scenes from Tiffany Stone. Tiffany was the field reporter out there, and I feel like she knows more about off-road than both of us combined, dude.
She's been, man, I probably met Tiffany at like Terracross in 2014 maybe. Yep. But she's always there. She's at KOH. She's at short course stuff still, Yep. And then obviously seeing her out there in the middle of the desert in Havasu was a good time. So yeah, she knows a lot about it.
Dude, she knows tons about it. Yeah, John, it's freezing in Southern California, dude. So yeah, we're all wearing sweaters. James over here though with the shorts on.
Yep.
I just want to let everybody know that they can always check us out online anytime. We're always live on Monday nights, 5 o'clock. Thursdays, we usually go live on Instagram 5:30-ish, but we have the Industry Insider on Thursdays. So check us out on Instagram at The Dirt Life Show. You can always check us out on Facebook at The Dirt Life Show and YouTube at The Dirt Life Show. If you can't watch us live, feel free to always check us out at thedirtlifeshow.com and check out any of the past videos, that kind of stuff. And you can always listen to us when you're in your car as well on iTunes, Spotify, whatever your preferred method is. Regular Rusty said no big deal shorts.
So there's one GoPro in the way from me really getting to the screen. I want to hit wave to everybody because, it's pretty cool. There's a lot of people coming on right now. Yeah, and exactly. I wish I could just push the wave button to everyone. Like, what's up, everybody on Insta?
We should get you a little stick that you can go over there and press.
That's why I was, yeah.
You can interrupt me, though, and just throw shouts outs when people come on.
Shout out to Rusty.
Yep. Yeah, and then so we want to thank our sponsors, too. Thank you very much to everybody over at KMC and EFX. They did an awesome support job for you guys this weekend. Yeah. You guys are both working together in the pits. Those guys are just love racing over there, and they got some pretty cool stuff. So you guys probably can't see it on Instagram, but we got one of their grenade wheels over here on this Boxo toolbox back here. So thank you to all those guys for helping support just the racing and everybody out there, man. They had so many good drivers out on the track this weekend, and just to see the support mechanism that KMC and EFX provide to all the drivers was fantastic. So thank you to the guys over at Zollinger Racing Products. We got a billet crankcase cover over there for a Can-Am X3. Those guys at Zollinger Racing Products make fantastic products. Go check them out. They got all kinds of stuff for your UTV, and use the code DIRTLIFE, the Dirt Life at ZollingerRacingProducts.com. Save a whole bunch of money. Thank you to the guys over at Shock Therapy. Like I said, Justin Smith from Shock Therapy is going to join us a little bit later. We really appreciate him being a part of the show. You can use the code DIRTLIFE over at ShockTherapist.com or ShockTherapyUSA.com and save a whole bunch of money over there. Thank you to Motul for joining us for the rest of 2021 and hopefully 2022 as well. Those guys provide some fantastic oil products. I know that you use them as well, don't you?
Yeah, I've been using Motul in most of my machines for probably 6 years plus.
Really? That long?
Yeah, one of my buddies was in there, and that kind of just fleeted us in, and we started using it because, hey, we had a friend and, support your buddies, but it's actually great stuff, so we never stop.
Dude, totally. And I'm going to change the oil and a bunch of different fluids, differentials, and all that stuff on the Unicorn to go out to the dunes this weekend. So we suggest that you guys do that as well. Go support the guys that support us. Get some Motul stuff at your local dealership. And thank you to the guys over at Cryo Heat. We really appreciate all their help. Josh is actually driving across the country right now. He left straight from the UTV World Championships, going all the way I forgot where he said, like Alabama or something, for some sort of mud nationals kind of thing. So that's going to be pretty interesting. So good luck to the guys over at Cryo Heat. But if you want any of their metal treatment services, hit up cryoheat.com or hit them up on social media. Thank you to the guys over at Solderweld. You can use the code DIRTLIFE over at solderweld.com. Save a whole bunch of money on their off-road repair kits and some of their other products like welding blankets and things like that. They do a fantastic job with all their products. Excuse me, and they've been a supporter of the show since day one as well. And, man, we got a new partner. Evo Power Sports is going to come on for the rest of the year and for 2022 as well. So look at all the stuff that Evo Power Sports does. I mean, they're on almost everybody's car, dude. So we really appreciate Todd, Jacob, Lindsay, everybody over at Jeffrey's Performance as well for linking us up with those guys. So please support those guys as well. All right, let's get into it, man. We got some people that are going to join us in a little bit here, like Ethan Groom then. But give me a little bit of a rundown on how your weekend went, dude. I know you had a bunch of fun with family and friends. Yeah,
I mean, if it wasn't family and friends with us out there, I mean, the racing didn't go great for us. We had fun while we were in the car. Erica co-drove for me, so that was really cool. It's always good when she's in there with me. And let's see, I mean, really, we were ready to go. Everything was looking good. You know, we didn't even stress prep or anything. Everything was good to go since we showed up out in Havasu.
Yep.
And unfortunately, we had an issue with the aftermarket arm, and it came apart, and that was it. You know,
what, like a ball joint or a time joint or something?
The arm.
Oh,
the
really?
arm separated.
Oh man.
So we didn't take any hard hits. From what it looked like, maybe there was a crack there before, and it was just overlooked. I mean, I went through the whole car the week prior, and everything was pretty much new.
Well, I don't think you should put much fault on yourself or even the product, actually, because there was probably, let's just say on average, 20 people that lost the front end of their cars because that track was so rough. It was insane. Even in the Pro Turbo class, I think between 8 and 12 people finished, 37 started.
Right.
Like, it was just taking people out. I mean, that track was so gnarly, dude.
Yeah. It was rough.
That's like your setup, though.
I felt good, you know, and honestly, we weren't pushing the car hard. The idea was to get out there, and especially with a bolt-on car, I mean, that's the car we just raced pro stock in the 500 with.
Yep.
So we put the better arms and suspension back on the car, and we weren't pushing it hard. It was just something that happens with racing.
What was the strategy to go out and figure out like what your pace was going to be, or just to go balls to the wall right away?
Well, so strategy as a whole for 5 laps, right, for Pro Turbo, it was going to be, okay, let's just keep the car rolling through lap 3 and then see where we're at, because we already know how it's going to stack up, right? This is more like a sprint desert race.
Right.
And these boys out front, they're out front.
Yeah.
So we, when we took off the line, we started to, like, you know, the rest of the classes, and we drag raced into the first turn, and luckily we were placed on the inside because neither us nor the driver next to us was going to live. So,
dude, I got to tell you,
that was
it. That was one of the most exciting portions of the broadcast. So, like I said before, if you just joined us, like I got to be able to part of the UTV World Championship broadcast team, and man, we saw you, like we were watching everybody take off, giving all the names, all the drivers and stuff, and I was like, yeah, James is going in, and then like I saw you guys take off side by side, and that hadn't happened. Like everybody else was kind of a little bit more staggered. And I was like, dude, James is not lifting. And then it looked like, was it a Can-Am that was next to you? It was,
yeah.
It looked like when the clutch like backshifted or something, like he just all of a sudden pulled forward, or he like smashed it harder and drew right alongside you up that hill.
I mean, when we're sitting there, Erica and I are staging, and I'm like, man, I hope we don't get stacked next to this guy because the car looked fast.
Yeah.
Like the graphics were bitching. You know what I mean? The tires were shining. I'm like, these boys are going to get it. And I'm like, you know what? We know what the course is. We know what the first few miles are like from qualifying. So I'm like, okay. So then all of a sudden that main plan kind of goes out the window because now we got to hole shot them, right?
Yep.
So you get aggressive and competitive and nobody wants to be in the dust. So we gave it all we had and, luckily it worked out.
It was so crazy to see, though. I was like, and the first thing that both Matt Martelli and myself said on the broadcast was, dude, that inside line paid off because he would have got you if he had the inside line because you guys were neck and neck, dude.
Right.
It was pretty rad to see, but I felt like that was like, I was like, dude, James Moto days was paying off now.
It felt good. I wish I wish we had a better run, but those guys, and forgive me, I forgot what the guy's name was, but I'm pretty sure they ended up with third.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
was it that Vito dude? Vito Renault or whatever his name was?
It's a beautiful looking car.
It's the one with the white and the red and the fluorescent yellow on the side.
Exactly.
Yeah, dude, those guys actually did super good.
Yeah.
We didn't know who he was the whole time on the broadcast, so I still want to meet this guy.
And that's what got me because he did. We messed up and did like an option line, and he got us back.
Oh,
so but we kept pacing him. I mean, we were kind of back and forth, for the
dude. He was top five the whole time, man. Like the whole time, like he was steady. So that's what I was thinking would be like the best move because we had a few people that came into the broadcast and told us they're like, dude. Like just kind of like you said, like the top five guys, they just go. It's just hammered down. Like you either win or you're not, or you break down, whatever it is.
Right.
And so that's kind of what everybody was saying on the broadcast. They're like, you really have no choice. Like if you want to win, you have to do that because those other guys are going to do that. And out of those top five, one of them's probably going to get lucky. Well, during that time when we were watching the top five, all of them went out because they all broke because the track was so gnarly. So the dudes like Caden Wells paced it a little bit more, Phil Blurton paced it a little bit more, and Vito, who ended up getting third, they all went out at a little bit slower pace and let the race come back to them.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it worked out, and it can go both ways.
Yeah.
There's preparation, there's luck, keeping the car together, being smart. I mean, all those things that factor in.
So you were going to let the race come to you, though, or let the track come to you kind of thing?
We run it loose, man.
Yeah, Jesse Nelson says do it for 2004.
That's what's up.
So I do think, like, hindsight's 2020, right? I can armchair the whole race, obviously, but I think if I was, like, after we pre-ran the course, if I was going to go out there, I probably would have chilled a little bit more on the first lap just to see how it was and then go as fast as I could after that.
Yeah.
Dude, so many people broke down in the first couple laps.
And, a lot of people said, oh, it's rough. The whole thing's chopped up. When we were out there, I felt like my car was running great. Erica wasn't uncomfortable. We were pushing on it. But also, once you get moving, you don't want to get past. You want to do the passing. So it's hard, to find that medium.
Is she pretty good at keeping you calm?
Yeah, she's great.
She's also good at providing snacks as well. So.
She has snacks.
Yeah,
she's good at wrenching.
Here we go. So Ashley just joined us. I don't know how to pronounce your last name, Ashley. You kind of pronounced it last time on the feed, but maybe you could comment in here and tell us exactly how we pronounce Vito and your last name. Because that's Vito's wife, the guy that was next to you.
Gotcha.
So, so what's up, Austin? How are you? Jesse Nelson, Pat Martin. Man, I honestly still like just coming back from the races. Your hype level still has to be pretty high because it was a pretty intense weekend.
Yeah, I'm still pumped. We didn't have a good race, but we had tons of fun.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what makes it happen. You get to see people that I haven't seen in a while. Tim Shellman, I see him at probably last time was at the Mint, and he's always super high. So when you get to see these guys, it's
Ranuio. There we go, Ranuio. All right, I got to remember that. So Vito Ranuio.
Nice.
Yeah, and some of your guys did pretty good though too. So Blake and David, they were driving an IMG 4-seater in which class were they in?
They raced the rally class.
Yeah, and they did pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of just like an off-the-shelf car that they went out and
That is a bolt-on car, for real bolt-on.
So what kind of stuff do they have done in that car?
It's got one of our 4-seat cages with the window net program.
Opening doors?
Yeah.
Stock fuel cell?
Stock fuel cell.
Tank?
I think it has a reserve on it.
Oh, okay, just so he can have more fuel.
Yeah, I don't think that we used it.
Dude, it looks so stock, man. It's so cool to see that people can actually like go out there and race that race. And there was so many people in those classes. I think there was above 30 people in the rally class as well.
I think there was more people signed up and started in rally than pro turbo.
Dude, that's insane.
Yeah. And some of them, like you kind of question, I know like we just finished Ruslan's car. He's got no other class to race. So with his age, he can run it.
Yeah.
And that's that car's pretty over the top. It's a beautiful car. So, there's all kinds of cars. You got Blake's car.
Yep.
Family wagon bolt-on, literally scared to break it because he's going with his family to the dunes this weekend.
Exactly.
And then full-blown race cars with 40-gallon fuel cells. So.
But they all, he did pretty good. What place did Blake get,
I think they finished 7th.
Dude, out of a stacked field like that?
Maybe better. I could be wrong.
In basically a stock, well, we can look at some of the results here. Yeah. But in basically a stock car, that's crazy, dude. John Huppert's commented in. He said, your cold and my cold is a lot different. Yeah, well, I'm still freezing over here, John. And he said, can't win it on the first lap, but you sure can lose it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I think that was a point that actually got proven pretty hard because I talked about racecraft a lot on the broadcast. And I really thought that that's what paid off for the dudes that ended up being in the top 3 or even the top 5. Because, I mean, dude, the only 7 of them finished basically on the lead lap. And everybody else just trickled in after that.
Sure.
So even if there was 10 cars that trickled in, 30 people couldn't keep pace.
Right.
Because they blew out or they just didn't have the car for it.
Yeah.
Like, that's so gnarly.
It's pretty, that's a big chunk. Quarter, right?
Well, most of the time,
40 cars and 10 finished?
Yeah.
In time?
Exactly. So let's just call it 25% of it.
Right.
But in a Baja race, like the 500 or the 1000, usually there's a better attrition race, like 50%, right?
I think...
or even more.
Well, that's kind of like I was saying earlier. This was more like a sprint race.
Yeah.
I mean, and like you said, checkers or wreckers. You got a chance to win. You got to push on it, though.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And you can get to that with Phil later on,
Yeah, we can
how hard they were pushing it.
He said that because he didn't even get a chance to pre-run or anything. So the first lap for him was like his first lap on course.
Gotcha.
So he was pretty mellow is what he was saying. And I don't know, man. Like Jesse just said, yeah, Captain Hindsight. But I honestly think being at the starting line, I probably would have chilled a little bit on the first lap too. Just because I would have wanted to know what the track was like after the Pro NA race that happened earlier in the day.
But if you start next to this guy, do you want to go
next to Vito?
You want to go? Do you want to go in first or second to the turn?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's when it goes out the window. Like, well, I got a chance to get out of this dust.
That's a really good point.
So you're going to take it or not, right?
Actually, you have a little bit of experience with this. So Rusty was saying at Terracross, 1 car would finish out of a 10-car gang fight.
For sure.
And so you actually had some experience with that. So, I mean, you know what? You're right, though. Like, how do you gauge that without hindsight?
It's tough.
Yeah, exactly. Maddie Wedeking, can you hear us?
Hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
We're doing awesome. Let me get you on with Ethan real quick, and then I'm going to put you on the big screen as well. So Ethan Groom's going to join us as well. Man, what a fun weekend, right?
It was a ton of fun.
Hi, you guys.
Ethan, what's up, man? How are you?
Good. How are you?
We're doing awesome. Thank you guys both for joining us. Is it nice to be back in Southern California, even though it's freezing here?
Yeah, I don't know what it is. It was definitely pretty cold today, raining a little bit and where I live. So it was like, oh, this is different.
Hey, we all live in the same spot, dude.
Yeah, that's true. Temecula.
Yeah.
All right. So let's, Ethan, let's get some, little bit of a rundown from Maddie, like how her Pro NA race was, and then we'll get back into you and talk a little bit about the Youth 1000 victory that you had. So, Maddie, give us a little bit of a brief understanding of how it was out there on the Pro NA course.
Oh, can you guys hear me? I can't hear anything.
It sounds like the audio or the internet connection might be kind of bad on your end.
I'm thinking the same thing. Let me disconnect from Wi-Fi.
All right. So, Ethan, how was it,
How about
dude?
now?
Okay, we can hear you better now, Maddie.
Okay, perfect. So what were you guys asking?
We just wanted to get a little bit of a rundown on how gnarly the track was in the morning, because we were just talking about it with James, how gnarly the track was in the Pro Turbo class. So I wanted to see how it was in the morning with the Pro NA class.
Honestly, the first couple laps weren't as bad as the last one. Like, the sportsman cars definitely chewed up the course, but, you know, the first 2 laps were fine, and then everything after that was just miserable. I am so glad I wasn't in the Pro Turbo class.
Wow.
That was terrible.
But was it like just chop? Was it dusty? Like, was the ruts getting notched out? Like, give us a little detail on it.
So I was surprised how it was not that dusty. We were 3rd, 4th on course the majority of the day up until the last lap. So we didn't really have to deal with as much dust. But no, like, the chatter bumps were insane. And then, you know, you'd go through the wash and it'd be, you know, a ton of chatter. And then you would, you know, hook a hard right, and all of a sudden.
Man, it seems like Maddie's got a pretty bad connection. It's pretty hard to hear you, Maddie. So maybe you could see if you could adjust it a little bit. I don't know if you can hear us as well. I'm going to start asking Ethan a couple questions in the meantime. So, Ethan, same thing to you, but it's a little bit different for you because you had triple duty, dude. So the kid raced in the Youth RS 1000 class.
Right.
And then you raced in the rally class, and you also raced as a co-driver in Pro Turbo, right?
Yeah, triple duty.
Dude, that's insane.
How you feeling?
That's what I'm saying. Like, how does your body... Maddie just gave us a little bit of an understanding that the track was toast. How does your body feel?
It was definitely a little rough. Like, the first day, the rally class and Youth 1000 class were back-to-back, and at that point, the course wasn't too chewed up. But by the Pro Turbo race at the end of Saturday, I was hurting. That track got chewed up pretty good.
Dude, you should have wore a kidney belt, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. You're young, dude. You got it.
Yeah, I got a young body. So
Yeah.
we're good.
Oh, man. But, dude, so he pulled triple duty. So did you guys, like you and your family, think about how much time you were actually sitting in a car this weekend? Like, on the race course?
Yeah, if we finished all of them, it was supposed to be somewhere around, like, 10 hours total in a car, but unfortunately, we weren't able to finish both of the rally class and the Pro Turbo class. So it was more like, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours that we were in the car.
But the 3 or 4 hours that you were in the car was pretty fun, and part of it, you got a victory out of it in the RS1 Youth 1000 class.
Yeah, I definitely had a good time all 4 hours. It's always fun you get to drive a car. It's just more fun when I was able to come out with the win. That was pretty cool, the Youth 1000 class. That course, it was fun. It was a good, I don't know, 6 or 7 miles, and we started second row, and we knew it's a short course race pretty much for us. We treated it like a works race because it's the same time and about the same track length. So we knew we had to go 100% from the start. And I think we were able, by the end of the first lap, we only did 4 laps, we were able to be first on time, I believe. We weren't first on track, but we were able to get first on time.
Maddie, can you hear us now? Did you watch any of the Youth 1000 class in the RS1s?
No, I did not watch that class, but I mean, from what I saw, it looked like a gnarly race between all of them.
It was like a works race. It was pretty like knockdown, drag out. I mean, even the kids tipping it over in the first turns. They were getting aggressive, man. Did you watch any of it, James?
I missed that race.
Yeah, it was pretty cool to see, though. All right, well, so back to you, Maddie. Like, since Ethan put in so much time on the course, I feel like no matter who it is, they're going to be like, yeah, that was a pretty rough track, but Ethan got way more of it. Either way, though, you did very, very well the last couple weekends, and I was super impressed that your driving capabilities the last, I don't know, few races that you've been going, Maddie, and you really showed a lot of professional potential this past race at the UTV Worlds.
Thank you. Yeah, I just moved to this new 4-seat car this season, and obviously my first couple races was just me getting used to how a 4-seat is versus a 2-seat. And I mean, now I got that car on lock. I love that car. So 4-seater definitely fits my driving style. So now I just get to finally drive how I've always wanted to drive all these years. So I'm pretty stoked.
Are you full pepper, just like Jacob Peter, one of Ethan's friends?
Yeah, I basically just pin it and kind of hope for the best. I feel bad for Matt every now and then because he's kind of like, okay, you can slow down. Like, you don't have to drive that crazy. And I'm like, I'm having the time of my life.
That is crazy. So, yeah, her co-driver, Matt Lasher, is also her boyfriend. So, like, she probably has to, like, deal with the wrath on the day after the races, too. Can you imagine driving with your wife as a co-driver?
No. I can only imagine. I mean, Matt's a good guy, you know, so you're both great people.
Yeah, absolutely.
I could only imagine him trying to tell you to slow down. Like, how can you do it, you know?
Manny Boy was saying that the start was a blast. Did you guys both enjoy the start of the race as well? Did you guys battle as hard as James did when he was out there?
Maddie can go first on this one.
So, yeah, we were, like, right next to each other, and I kind of got the jump on him. And I was like, oh, yeah, I'm not letting go. You know how we start off on that hill? I just never let off. And I didn't think I was that sketchy. But Manny and Adrian were in the car next to me, and they said I was, like, jumping full sideways down that hill. Yeah, it did not feel that gnarly, but apparently it looked gnarly.
It looks pretty gnarly on camera, too, because your back end got all bucked in the first corner.
Yeah, but, hey, I did not want to be in the dust on my very first lap going into it, so I wasn't letting up, that's for sure.
Right.
So her move was the same as yours, dude.
I'm pretty sure nobody wants to be in the dust. So, like, dude, if you have the chance to jump.
You would be so surprised at how many people just stayed back and just let it go. Like, some dudes just, like, let it go right away, like, didn't even take off quick.
I'm also pretty sure the other battle that I saw, because we were pitting for the 2 rally cars, was Wayne and Kristen.
Battling together?
On the drag race.
Oh, yeah, off the start.
And I'm pretty sure Wayne pushed her out. Like, yo.
He did. He totally cut her off.
Yeah, that would make for some interesting conversations at the dinner table that night.
He slept outside for sure.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, because Kristen was on the outside, wasn't she?
I think so. I could be wrong, but I just remember watching those 2 drag race, and I'm like, I wonder who's going to lift here, you know?
Yeah, Kristen was on the inside, and she initially got the jump, and then they went up on that hill, and Wayne just boom and cut her off. I was like, oh, he's in the doghouse for sure.
Oh, yeah, that's a competitive move right there to have to deal with the wrath for later.
Right, risky guy.
Troy commented in and said Caden Wells is watching as well, so he did fantastic this weekend too. So congratulations to Caden Wells. All right, let's get back to you, Ethan, a little bit. How was your start at the UTV Worlds?
Our starts were good. We had 3 different starts. Youth 1000, I think we were second. We went 4 wide for the youth class, so we got second off the line. And then by the time we headed to the desert section, I was able to get into first. The rally class, I thought we were racing in an NA car, and so we knew like it was going to be hard starts for us, and we were lining up to a full-blown geyser car, built turbo Can-Am. We're like, oh man, this is going to be tough, and we got a really good jump. Like we gapped them a couple car lengths off the start, like halfway down the start line. We still like halfway down the start straight, we still had a decent gap on them. The second that turbo kicked in, he was just gone. Like, it looked like we were sitting still. Like, I looked right, and all I see is this Can-Am just fly right by me. I'm like, man, these turbo cars are unfair.
Hey, yeah, so actually, since we have 2 NA drivers here on the feed with us, and you're a turbo guy now, I want to get everybody's, like, opinion on this, and Caden Wells is watching. Like, Matt and I were discussing this on the live broadcast, is I kind of felt like I would have chosen to just have a nimble NA car on that course. Mm-hmm. They did well. Both of them did well in their NA cars. What do you think about, like, what Matt was like, no, if you know how to drive a turbo, take it?
Pros and cons to each one. You know, more things can happen. More things can fail on the turbo, but obviously it can go faster. Not necessarily faster. I mean,
faster on that course?
Well, it's more rapid. So like in some of the sand washes, like going upward, right? Or
yes,
fighting.
so you get to speed way quicker.
Right.
That makes sense. What do you guys think as well? You go first, Ethan, and then we'll let Maddie go.
We were actually discussing this like a couple weeks before, because last year we raced it in Brandon City's Turbo S. We borrowed his Turbo S, and we're like, man, what would be a better car? A turbo car, or like an NA car for these tracks? And we kind of figured it out like through the race. Like the NA cars were in like the narrow. Our NA car is stock width, so it's the 64 inches, and it was super good through like the tight stuff and like through all the canyons that we had. It was like super good. And the second we hit those sand washes, like you were saying, they're just gone. Like we had no speed able to keep up.
Yeah, I mean the 64-inch cars, especially
Did you see Manny's comment?
I did. Manny, you're right, man. They do, and I think that with the 64-inch cars, less drag as well. I mean, some of those things are quick and they're way more nimble, so you can just kind of put it up. Even though you get the W or Autopia, if you drive it right on that stuff, it doesn't even affect the car.
Well, then okay, so we can go to the full argument point with Maddie then, because Maddie's driving a 4-seater NA car, so it's a little bit bigger car.
Right.
Like, how did it actually feel compared to what these guys are talking about?
Okay, yeah, I took my school bus through that, so mine was not all nimble, okay? But honestly, to have a turbo to get through those chatter bumps faster, and stay on top of them more would have been way nicer.
Right.
Especially because there was a lot of, going up the washes and then coming back down and going back up them. So we couldn't get to that speed nearly as fast as you guys could. But it was nice having the 4-seat car in certain areas.
Right.
I wasn't as nimble as everyone else since I have a bigger car.
Yeah.
But overall, it handled really well. But I do feel like the NA cars, we have to push the cars way harder than the turbo cars do.
Yeah.
Because we need to carry our momentum and our speed, and those RPMs, they're higher. We need to carry those speed more than the turbos car.
Which makes you a better driver.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. Absolutely. So when they're going up through the ranks and feeling that. So Ken Johnson just asked what the difference with the lap times were. Ken, it kind of depends because there was a real heater in the first lap of the Pro Turbo class.
Yeah.
But it was roughly 5 minutes slower for the NA cars compared to the Turbo cars. But there was differences, though. Like the track was really, really chewed up during that Pro Turbo class, man. It was, I don't know, like...
sorry to cut you off. Can I see those?
Yeah.
Because where's Caden?
Caden Wells lap times. He was actually doing really well in the Pro Turbo class. He was only about 3 minutes off, I think.
But he was running the NA 2-seater, correct?
In the Pro Turbo class, yep.
So
Caden is one of the fastest drivers I've ever seen. He carries his speed, and he is so smooth through everything. I bet his lap times are great.
Hey, you guys need to make a run up to Utah to see what time it is, and ask Caden if you can go up there and start learning some lessons from him. Don't you think, Ethan?
Yeah, right?
Yeah, that'll be pretty cool. Go a big old trip to Utah and see how those guys do it.
He's actually you, Maddie, as well as Caden have both been really growing on me a lot with your racing prowess over the last couple of weeks. And I was talking to my buddy Jason Hess and today, and I was telling him, I go, when people are in a racing environment, whether it's NASCAR, motocross, side by sides, and they kind of just sit there at a little level, and then all of a sudden you see like, whoa. They just like hit that next step. Like I feel like Caden and Maddie are both doing that now.
Yeah.
And Ethan is, obviously he's doing the same thing. It's a little bit less visual because he's just stepping up cars.
Right.
But he's getting really fast too. Like so, the level is just getting so much better.
Yeah, Ethan, did you get into the RS1 last year?
Last year was my first year in the RS1.
Cool.
It's pretty cool to see, man. I really think you guys are doing fantastic these last, few weeks. It's probably because 2021 has been so jacked up, and then you just go spend so much time at the races.
Yeah, there've been a lot of races 2021, especially because 2020 there wasn't as many, so they shoved a lot of them this year. And the series are packing in a lot more races, so we're getting way more seat time than we have been the past couple of years. So, as you know, seat time, the better driver you are.
So, Maddie, what's the next plans for you and your race car? What do you guys got going on?
So I race in a couple weeks. I race at Cedar City for the last Legacy race.
Oh, that'll be pretty cool. Have you ever raced that track?
I've never been up there, no.
It sounds like it would be pretty rad.
Yeah, sounds like it's going to be like Silver State, a lot in the trees, switchbacks, all that. So that should be, fun, and I'm excited to try out that new course for sure.
Do you think your car will do pretty good there?
I hope so. We'll try our best.
All right. So before we ask Ethan the same question, can you give us one funny story or something that was outside of the racing that you guys did that was super cool this weekend? Because we got to go eat. We found a machaca taco place up in Havasu that was pretty good.
Oh, okay. We went to this place called College Street. Oh, dude, there was these fat pork chops. I've never seen a pork chop that large in my life. I mean, it was thick and like fat. It was the best pork chop I've ever had. That's my story.
That was cool. I bet your dad was pretty fired up about those things too.
Oh, he loved it. And then there was like this soup, and it was basically just nacho cheese. It was like a beer cheese soup.
Wow.
That's right up your alley.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't eat it, but it was a big old bowl of just nacho cheese as a soup.
Dude, I would have been so into that. Ryan Piplick has joined too, man. Him and Phil Blurton were battling so hard this weekend. All right, Maddie. Well, we really appreciate you joining us. You're more than welcome to get. I know you just got off work and you probably have a bunch of stuff to do. So thank you very much for hanging out.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Awesome job this weekend too. Keep kicking butt.
Thank you.
So,
bye, guys.
Ethan, kind of the same question to you, bud. Like, first of all, what's next in your racing for the rest of the year?
We have a couple more coming up. We have a works round in Mesquite at the end of October, and then we're racing the Best in the Desert race. I think we'll be doing Youth 1000 there, and then I'm filling in for my good friend Dallas Gonzalez. He races Pro NA, and I believe he's going to be out. He got a little bit of an injury at the Glen Helen Works race, so I'll be filling in for him there in the Pro NA class.
Dang, that's crazy, man. It sounds like you got a pretty busy schedule. Johnny Couture just said you passed him really fast. He's even said that you were about to jump over him. That's pretty crazy.
Oh yeah, that first jump at
Did you hit him with like the horn or the siren or anything, or just shoot gone?
No, we were in the RS1s, and they're all works cars, so we're trying to keep those as lightweight as possible. So there's no room for horns or sirens. So it was just the bumper and I hope you see it.
Dude, I'm telling you though, these kids are fired up when they're on course. Yeah. Like the speed that they were going, like if you didn't tell and like delineate it like verbally to somebody saying these are kids,
right,
you would almost think that they're adult racers because they were going so good.
I think I saw the start and because I do remember you guys said you went 4 wide, right?
Yeah, we're going 4 wide.
Yeah, so I caught a little of it. I just wasn't paying attention. I wish I would have now.
There's some kids that didn't have stickers on their cars that were hard to see who they were. But, dude, it was a pretty fun race to actually watch, man. You guys were battling pretty hard the whole time.
Yeah, it was fun. We were battling from start to finish. Second place was right there on time with us for the first couple laps. So he definitely kept us honest and had to keep pushing the whole way.
Hey, so I want to ask you the same question about what was something cool or fun that happened outside of the racing. But I want to tell you first that thank you very much to your mom, Julie Groom, because she got all of us in the production crew Uber Eats or whatever with hamburgers while we were sitting there. Yeah, dude, it was so awesome because we couldn't leave and we were all stuck there. It was so awesome to see. So tell your mom and dad thank you very much for doing that. So what else actually was super cool for you guys this weekend outside of the racing?
One thing that I know it's kind of weird, but there was this coffee shop called The Human Bean, and I'm not a big coffee guy, so I got a smoothie there, but it's the best smoothie I've ever had. It was just a mango smoothie, and I don't know what it was, but it was really good.
Hey, so nice. Do you know Ethan's brother Jacob?
No.
So we call him the boss.
Okay.
Because he runs the program, dude.
How old is Jacob?
Yeah, how old is Jacob now?
8 years old.
Yeah, nice, I get it.
He fully runs the program. I mean, he's deep. He doesn't even care about actually getting in a car himself. He's running this program. So what was the boss's favorite part of the whole weekend?
I think the boss's favorite part of this whole weekend was probably hopping in the pool with some friends. We had some family and friends that rented out a house in Havasu, and so his favorite part was probably hopping in that pool.
But the boss deserves to go for a dip after he's worked so hard, right?
Yeah. Yeah, good boss. He was on the radio for me, making sure my pit stops went smooth. He said,
good.
I've had a long weekend. I got to hop in the pool. So it's fun.
Even Ken. Jacob is the team, dude.
Team manager.
Manager,
and like we say, sometimes you got to let a guy live.
Yeah, exactly.
Simple as that.
Ethan, you did such a great job this weekend, man, and thank you very much for joining us on the live broadcast, too. You're really becoming a consummate professional in all these things, not just being a race car driver behind the wheel, but being able to offer yourself to media guys like us, so it's really cool to see, man.
Thank you. That means a lot. Thank you.
And Travis Lee said good job on the win as well, Ethan.
Thanks, Travis. Look forward to battling with you the next couple of races.
Yeah, nice.
It's pretty cool to see the kids doing it, don't you
Yeah.
think?
Heck yeah.
All right, Ethan. Well, is there anything else you got to say before we take off?
No, just thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. Please tell the family we said hello, and thank you very much.
Will do. Thank you.
Later, man.
See ya.
Bye, guys.
Is this Pro Turbo finishing? What is that one?
This is Pro Turbo finishing and lap times.
Finishing and lap time. So Ken Johnson, if you're still on, which I think you are.
Yeah, I think he's still there.
This is lap 1. So lap 1, Phil Blurton, 45:02.
Yeah, but Bloomquist, whatever, he ran a 42-minute lap time the first lap. He was smoking.
Well, I was just going to give Ken, because these are just right next to each other with Phil and Caden.
Justin Smith from Shock Therapy, what's going on, buddy? How are you?
What's happening, guys?
How you doing?
Go with those lap times. I want to know what they are too.
Okay, cool. So let's
I was just, because he was asking about NAs, from like the turbo. So if you take Phil's lap 1, it's 45:02 and change, and then Caden was 46:56.
Right. Okay.
So just for a reference,
a couple
that's all
minutes.
I was going to say.
Yeah. So that is a good reference. Do
what I
a couple
mean?
more though, like maybe some of the last laps. So Phil Burton was what on the first lap?
45:02.
And Caden Wells in his NA car in the turbo class on the same course was what?
Caden was 46:56.
Okay, so a minute and a half
Yeah, a minute and 54 seconds.
behind. Okay,
Right.
That's on the first lap. What about
Right.
the last lap, the rougher course?
So
How much difference was the Pro NA versus Pro Turbo?
So last lap, if we use Phil's time, was 45:02 on lap 1. Lap 5 was 49:35.
So 4 minutes slower for the last lap.
Right.
And then how about Caden's?
Caden's was 48:15.
So he actually did better than Phil on the last lap.
If you were to do a split.
Yeah. Well, he did a minute faster on the last lap, right?
Yeah, he did.
So Justin, we
So
were
he
having
picked up the pace.
Yeah, for sure. So Justin, we were just having a discussion about the difference between the NA car and the turbo car, and clearly a turbo car is going to create more horsepower. But when the track has the same technical aspects and the same race course that we saw at the UTV World Championship, we didn't see very much delineation from those top-level drivers in an NA car or a turbo car.
I think it depends on the course.
Oh, Bo is saying he had to change a tire last lap.
Yeah. If it's a tight course, then I think the NAs have a little bit better chance. How's that? If it's a longer course, then the turbos are going to really stand up when it comes to the horsepower and things. I think this course, you got to go with the lap times. If you're only a minute or two off, that's pretty tight. I can tell you this, when we were doing pre-running, in our pre-runner, which is a Turbo X3, we ran one hot lap and it was 45 seconds. That was before it's torn up, but that was also a pre-runner. Now we had a Honda, we had a Kawasaki, and an XP with us, and they were all running roughly with us at the same time. They were all within a couple of minutes of it, but definitely a couple of minutes slower. I think if you didn't have the uphill sand stuff, then it would get up.
Yeah, so Justin's kind of relaying the same information
Right.
that you did, like that's where the differences were, is kind of going up the uphill washes where you really need that like real grunt of power right when the turbo kicks in.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Hey, Justin, we had a comment come in. I forgot who it was from, Newman or something like that asked, how long have you guys been racing UTVs?
Good question. We didn't, I ran the 2014 Baja 1000 Peninsula run that was 1,200 miles in an NA XP 2-seater. That was not us like running, team. It wasn't a program. It was just us in a car and a couple of volunteers. So 14 would probably be the first time in a UTV, but I've been racing since 96 in trophies, class 1s and 10s.
And Justin, also, Ken Johnson asked, would you rather have big horsepower or good suspension? And let's answer that two ways. This race course, or in general?
Suspension always. If you could put 400 horsepower to something with no suspension, tires aren't on the ground, all you're going to do is break stuff or go slow.
Yeah, 100%.
So, Phil is a perfect person to answer that question, because I know that, Phil doesn't have a ton of horsepower in the car, but it works. And we probably, not just us, but there's a lot of guys that probably have a whole lot more horsepower than him, but he's got, lap times and finishes and wins to show which is better.
Yeah, that's true. You would probably lean on the same thing?
100%. I've got a great working shock and suspension setup, or,
right.
and stock engine, stock tune, nothing.
Yeah, and you just go for it.
I mean, exhaust.
The cars are already fast enough, too. Caden Mack asked if you were going to be doing the Baja 1000, Justin.
Not doing the 1,000, and it's not because for any reason other than time. To do a peninsula run, it's going to be an extra week if you want to do it right, in my opinion. And usually going down there for a 1,000 is a minimum of a week of pre-running and race. And for a peninsula run, it's about 2 weeks. We're just too busy at the shop. I can't get away for that much time. And a lot of the guys that would come down and help us, they can't pull 2 weeks. So we're skipping the peninsula run, but we're going to run all 4 races next year and score as well as everything in the U.S.
Man, that's going to be pretty cool to see. Your program's going to be elevated. All right, so what was a couple of the give us a little bit of a rundown of your race, actually, first.
Well, I'm concentrated on the rally race because we just had a ton of fun in that one. Our turbo race was not very good. We broke a bunch of stuff, but in the rally race, our goal was to kind of train Ernie. If you guys don't know who Ernie is, he's basically the guy that runs everything at the shop. If you ever get over to Shock Therapy, you'll know he runs the show, especially if I'm gone. So my goal and all of our goals.
Let me interrupt you though. Ernie is also the biggest sender in the crew in Glamis. Massive
swing
sender.
set guy.
Oh, big sender guy
really?
in Glamis. Big sender guy.
On a picture in the sand and have Ernie drive the car. You're going to get one good one before it's ready.
Dude, big sender guy. All right, sorry to interrupt you.
No, that's good. But he's an excellent driver. He definitely would have the pace to race, but he has never been in any of these races to see what the pace is. So our goal was Ernie got in the right seat in the pre-runner, and we started late on purpose. We entered late on purpose. We wanted to be in the back and kind of not mess with anybody else's race, and run some dust, which he's never really done, and see what it's about. And he learned how to navigate in the first 3 miles. He got good at it, I would say, in about 10 miles, and got sick about 30 miles. So he's not really good in the right seat, but he's going to be a good driver. Our goal was just to get some time with him in a race so we can get his feet underneath him and be able to run a super stock car next year, full season.
Yeah, that's super cool. Well, yeah, right when I pulled up to the Shock Therapy pits, Ernie had just got out, and he was pretty white in the face.
Yeah.
We were making fun of him, but that's because he makes fun of all of us, right?
Oh, yeah. So my brother hopped in, and we ran the last 2 laps, and luckily we weren't too far off the lead. I think when we started our 4th lap, but we were only about 45 seconds behind first, so we just said, okay, might as well try and throw something at it. So we picked the pace up and blew the front diff, put it in 2-wheel drive, and we're coming in thinking that we're probably somewhere top 3 for the heck of it, and ran out of gas within sight. Ran out of gas within sight of the jump, and it took about 15 minutes to get fuel to us, so we ended up 4th.
Oh man! So you could have potentially got a top 3. Should have, could have, would have, though, right?
That didn't matter. None of that really mattered. We were just having such a good time swapping guys out and trying to stay out of people's way and have fun, and we did that. So that was probably the best thing of the weekend. But getting into Pro Turbo, we got a ton of time on the car. We tested a lot, and we really don't have any problems with it anymore. And that being said, we lost the power steering 8 miles in. And if anyone's been on that course, you guys know how choppy that is. And with no power steering, my hands were tingling.
Can you imagine?
At 20 miles. My arms were asleep. And hurt bad at the end of the first lap. I didn't know if I could pull 2 or 3 more laps of that, but the guys fixed the power steering and sent us out. And then shortly after that, we sheared an axle stub off the rear, which we've never broken an axle, never broken a stub in that car ever. And there's a first for everything. So the tire passed us on the course, and that was it. But we had more fun after we were trying to sit on the side of the course and fix the car, because then here comes Dustin Jones with a flat tire, and they're getting out of the car to try and change it. And we're like, get back in the car, man. We got it for you. So we changed the tire on his car. But as they're putting everything back together, we got the tire on it, and we're like, go ahead and go. We couldn't figure out how his damn jack went back on the car at all. There was like no way. It was Rubik's Cube to get his jack to fit on the car. By the way, Dustin, need to work on that mount so everybody
Dustin's
can help.
Coming on the show a little later. We'll ask him about it.
All right, I'll tell him sorry we didn't get the jack back on there, but we tried to shove the jack inside the car so they could carry it. He's like, oh, no, don't worry about it. So we sent the jack back to his pit with some of the road guys or the course guys. And so when he came around the next lap, the goal was he was going to get it back with another spare. I think he ended up on his lid before that. So it was a bad race for him.
Dude, he was hauling the mail too. Hey, so 2 things that I wanted to comment on. First thing was a comment came in that we actually talked about this with Phil Blurton about limiting his suspension to 14 inches. So I want to ask you about that. But one of the things that I think is so great is the attitude in Justin's pits, the attitude they have after the rally race, and the attitude that you had, even though you were deflated after the race.
Yeah.
Like, everybody was such positive vibes all weekend.
Yeah, it's part of racing. I mean, sure, you want to do great. You want to get a finisher medal or win. But the reality is most people can't win everything.
Well, dude.
Phil? Sorry.
Phil. 4-time, 4P Phil.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we all want to have a good at the end of the day, like, hey, man, we're still having a good time.
Justin, some of the statistics were like, I think it was either, 60 to 70% of the field didn't finish. Like, I think only 7 or 8 so people finished on the lead lap, and then the other guys just kind of trickled in. But I think only maybe 10 or so cars finished and crossed the finish line.
It's not the roughest course in history compared to some sections in Baja, but I'll tell you what, the chop is definitely the worst chop of any race I think that we have on our calendar, and it shakes parts off the car. No doubt, you're going to find the weak spots.
That's cool that you're actually, both of you guys, you're actually out there racing, testing the cars and their capabilities, and obviously applying that to the businesses that you both own, and making sure that the customers get the most benefit from it. It's never a failure when you learn.
And that's our goal. We try to have, first, if we can test parts and learn, that's number one. Number two, we want to help everybody around us if we can, and we want to have a good time. Racing's always fun. If you go in with that attitude, it's always going to be great. And if we happen to be fast and do well, then that's a bonus. We don't show up to try and be last. We show up to try and do well. But, we've got bigger goals, I think, and that's mostly part development for us.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so the last question that I was kind of going to relay off you or get your opinion on is Phil told us that he brought his King of the Hammers car there, which is a super lightweight car. Mm-hmm. It's got limited amount of suspension, and the person that commented in said it was really stiff and it had approximately 14 inches of travel, and I think that's about what Phil was telling us on the broadcast. Can you speak to that at all, Justin, or do you know anything about that?
He mentioned that to me, that he was running a shortened up set, and I think it's a good idea for a race that's really rutted, because if the inside tire is off the ground early, then it can stop a lot of body roll when the car's thrown in inertia-wise into a rut. So you're going to sacrifice a lot. The corner speeds are going to go up, and you're going to sacrifice ride quality. So if your kidneys can take it and you don't have to fish your pants too bad by the end of the race, then that's probably a really good move. And clearly he won. So that's one good thing to think about. You can do it other ways. You can do it with way more sway bar and keep the droop in it. And that'll limit the side to side. It'll limit the travel of the inside tire as well. The way he did it is just one of many ways you can accomplish that. But yeah, definitely limiting it would help in the corners on any ruts.
Yeah, and I don't think he actually chose to do it that way. I think he just didn't have time because they're building a good, prepping for the Baja 1000. So they just took what they got and they ran what they brung kind of thing. He did say, however, though, that he had a new seat pad, so that kind of saved him a little bit. But he said Bo wasn't too happy about not having a good seat pad in his because they were just hitting that chatter like nobody's business.
It was nasty. Even with the car set up to be plush, it was still nasty.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Well, still, I think you guys did a good job. You guys had a fun weekend. Thank you very much for having me over and having enchiladas, talking with you, Brandon Sims, and Jeanette, and everybody. Was really fun. I had a great time with you guys. So overall, it seems like you guys still had a good time. Just like we asked the kids. Well, Maddie doesn't want me to call her youth anymore. She said she's going to be 20 years old.
She's an adult.
What was one of the fun things that happened off the track this weekend?
Besides having you guys over for dinner, that was great. Tons of shit talking, that's for sure.
Yeah.
No, but my favorite thing, besides the racing, is I didn't have to pay Brandon Sims a signed $1 for him beating me.
Dang.
Yeah.
Dang.
We both broke. I saved my $1 for the next race.
Gentleman's bet, right?
That's right.
Awesome, dude. Well, thank you very much for hanging out with us tonight. We really appreciate it. We know that you had got back to work today and had a long day at work as well. So go get some rest, buddy. We really appreciate it. And please tell the family hello.
All you do, keep the shows going.
Thanks, bud.
See ya.
Dude, it's so cool to see and understand the vibe that goes on. Like, I was really surprised when you got the interview with Tiffany Stone, how cool, calm, and collected you were. But you were telling me it wasn't really like that when you're getting out of the car.
I thought we were going to get the repairs. We obviously had more suspension components. We had everything loaded in those trucks to keep that car rolling. But the radiators.
Didn't have a radiator?
And that was our end all.
So tell me what happened, though, because I haven't even got to look at any of the damage.
So the arm failed. We almost rolled the car.
You saved it?
We saved it. And more or less because I thought it was power steering at first. I know a lot of people had power steering issues. So I was thinking, man, maybe this thing, glitched or, something. So I go to kill the car, coming down a hill. All of a sudden, car went sideways up on the bike with no power, key off. And I'm like, we're done. And I'm like, it was the slow motionist put up on two I've ever had. And we're facing, kind of going downhill. And I'm like, Erica, bounce. And she's like bouncing. And the car's literally on the bike.
Yeah.
And I feel
right on the edge.
I feel like it's going past the tipping point. And I'm like defeated, right? And I just lose it, yell out a couple cuss words, crank the wheel, and somehow it just starts tipping back and it lands.
Way.
We fire it, and I'm like, thank you.
Dude.
Fire it. And we start going, and I'm like, okay, I got power steering. And then I'm like, something's still wrong. So when we drug it off the foothills there, and we got down one wash and hit a couple turns, I'm like, something's really wrong. I thought it was a tie rod related issue. And when we pulled over, she jumped out, assessed it. She thought it was a knuckle at first. And ultimately, the arm was
issue.
ripped apart. So we got it. We actually plowed dirt back into the pits.
Yeah, we saw you limp it in.
Where we had parts, and those boys went to work. And I probably sat in the car for about 3 minutes, and then I'm like, this is useless. Like, I feel like I'm being worthless.
Need help, yeah.
So I like wrenching. That's what I do day in, day out. Jump out. As soon as I get out on the driver's side, I see coolant drips.
Oh, man.
And it wasn't a downpour, but it was dripping. And I tried to assess it, tried to find where it was coming from. Whatever happened, it hit, and
just barely put a pin.
Yeah, it put a hole somewhere, and I didn't still assess it.
Man,
but it was leaking, and I just figured, you know what, we wanted to go up front.
Yeah,
and that early on, first lap, I just I didn't see that we could keep it running.
Yeah, but I mean, you also didn't cause yourself any more drama either. Like
I didn't want to get stuck 20 miles out.
You could patch it,
right,
and potentially keep going. But I mean, it's not the Baja 1000, so
right.
Yeah, I get it. Well, I'm still glad that you guys had the demeanor at the end of the day, like to be able to have a positive attitude and to respect everybody's time and everybody that was there trying to help you too. It's pretty cool. All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break. I think James is going to say bye to us.
I'm taking off. Thanks, everybody, for joining.
We really appreciate you guys joining. We're going to take a break for about 5-10 minutes here and watch some commercials on the live, other live feed, live production. So you guys on Instagram, just hang tight. We'll be right back.
Also, just a heads up, there's going to be someone else coming in.
Oh, a new guest.
New guest. So surprise for everybody that stays on.
We'll see you guys in a second.
Hello, I'm Justin, the founder of Shock Therapy. Shock Therapy has been around for 5 years, but we have personally been tuning suspension on off-road cars and race vehicles for over 25 years. We tune between 10 and 15 cars per day, every single day of the week. Our concentration is tuning shock systems and supplying components that improve the ride quality of your car in many ways. Not only do we work on the average UTV, but we also tune suspension for race teams and professional drivers. We currently tune for over 87 race teams in Best in Desert and Score. Our clients and race teams rely on our suspension components to allow them to win races and keep them safe. Suspension is a moving target, and we are always trying to hit that target with every customer that we work with. Each customer's needs can be different, and we tune our kits accordingly. Our research and development never stops. We improve our components every single day. As the industry evolves and improves, so do our parts and kits. As of right now, we have over 100 products for UTVs. So when you bring your car to us, you have the satisfaction of knowing that you have the most experience, the highest quality products, and the fact that your car is being tuned specifically to you.
We're here at the Mint 400. My name is Kerry King. I'm with the OTSFF Motul Vision truck. Motul oil is a big part of our race program. I mean, the consistency, the temperature that it holds, and the issues that we don't have while we're using that oil is self-explanatory.
Motul Oil, they've been with us for over 12 years. They jumped on board with us with the 6100 race truck here, and Mint 400, and they've been an amazing partner with our lubricants. And really, it's allowed us to finish every race in 2019, and we're jet setting really well here for 2020.
Zollinger Racing builds the best aftermarket products available. Products for your UTV or snowmobile, including billet radius rods, billet tie rods, billet steering knuckles, billet steering racks, alternator kits, and much more. All manufactured in the United States in-house at their headquarters in Nibley, Utah. Travis Zollinger and his team test in some of the most brutal conditions, racing in places like the Best in the Desert Mint 400, Ultra 4 King of the Hammers, UTV World Championships, and many more. Visit ZollingerRacingProducts.com and use the code DIRTLIFE to get 10% off your next purchase, and join us on social media at Zollinger Racing Products to see our products in action. Zollinger Racing, the best products, period. Yeah, finally, we got Lance from Solderweld in the studio. Thanks for coming down, bud. Hey, why don't we just record a commercial now?
Yeah, why not? So good to be here, man. It's been a lot. I've been trying to get down here forever, and I wanted to talk about the off-road kit.
Dude, I love those things. I got it in my pack.
Yeah, we're running hundreds of vehicles now running them, whether it's a UTV or some guy's got it in a backpack on his motocross. He's got everything he needs to make a fix right there on the fly, out on the trail, or in the desert, whatever it is.
Well, since I've already used one, I kind of know what to use it for, but explain what it does.
All right, so let's pull one out real quick. You've got your aluminum rods. Remember, they're rods, right? So, light torch, small torch. You can throw it in there or throw it on the rig with your flux. It decontaminates and cleans like let's say a radiator. You get a random rock chip runs through as you're racing. You get a rock chip in a radiator. You got to fix it right there, or you're out of the race.
You can patch it up.
It's all good to go.
Yep, just like welding.
Yeah. Also, as well with that, you've got a brake line fix. So with your flux, you can fix a brake line, stainless steel. And then your hot block, heat absorption putty. So it keeps you from getting burned, number one, as well as keeps the heat from traveling. So it's really nice.
I've used this not even to fix anything. So that stuff works so good, man.
Listen, it's easy. It straps in nicely so that you have everything you need in one little place, and you don't have to carry a big bag in
It's like a first aid kit for your vehicle.
Yeah, chase trucks have it as well, so that, if they need to make a fix on the fly, they can get it done and get it done quick and get you back in the race.
Dude, those things are so cool. All right, so it's at Solderweld on Instagram, Facebook, and solderweld.com.
Awesome.
All right, thanks, bud.
Appreciate it.
Welcome back to episode 105 of the Dirt Life Show, the UTV World Championship recap. As you can see, James not looking so hot anymore. He's lost a little bit of weight. Now, James Hill had to go home, but he left his buddy Scully drinking a beer over here with me, so we appreciate it, James. Thanks so much for making Halloween important over here at IMG Motorsports. You want to call him Bones? I was thinking about calling him Scully. I have inappropriate. That's funny. So, yeah, I appreciate you guys hanging out and chilling with us tonight. We had Justin from Shock Therapy just on a minute ago, as well as Maddie Wedeking. Man, she's really been turning it up the last few weeks in her racing prowess. And Ethan Groom, youngster, just getting it done, man. He got that victory in the Youth 1000 class. Coming up here, we got a few other people that are going to join us. We're going to have JD Marsh come on in just a few minutes here. JD actually won the Pro NA class. And he did a really good job, man. So we'll get his understanding of a little bit of the same questions that we asked the people before. Understanding how rough that freaking track was, how much he uses co-driver, a little bit of stuff like that. Ryan Edwards from KMC is also going to join us around 6:30. And then we got the big dogs, Phil and Bo from No Limit Racing. They're going to join us around 6:45 or so. And Dustin Jones, we'll see when he can join us. He's all the way from Louisiana. He's going to join us around 6:30, 6:45 as well. And then we're going to close out the show with Tiffany Stone around 7 o'clock. So like I mentioned before, you can always check us out online at thedirtlifeshow.com. Hit up the sponsor deals page, man. You guys can save a whole bunch of money if you use those links there and some of those discount codes, and save on you guys at Shock Therapy. You can even learn how to get sponsored, man. It's October, so everybody's trying to get their sponsorships in, too. Alex Streiler has a good course up there, so click that and go support him as well. Well, a few of the things that we were talking about for this weekend were just, how rough the track was, battle of attrition, and different things that people would change with their racecraft to be able to win that type of race. Like, these desert racers have to have so much ability to change and think on the fly. That's why the co-driver is so important. Like a guy like Max Eddy, he had to do all of it himself. He raced the RS1 that we built last year and raced the UTV World Championships in. He raced this year and podiumed in that thing, man. He just did a few things with that and got it going. It's just an entry-level car, man. I mean, it's basically a rally car, but he raced it. He threw a fuel cell in there and raced it in the Pro Turbo class. The Pro NA class. It was awesome to see him do so well. Unfortunately, JD Marsh beat him, so he didn't get the victory. But we'll talk to Jay Drizzle in just a second and see how the track was with him and what the co-driver did to help him as well. But man, there's so many different things that people do as far as racecraft to be able to win these types of races and stuff. Let's get JD on the line here and see what kind of stuff him and his co-driver did to be able to max out and win that race. It was pretty cool for him to be able to go out there and win it. JD Marsh, what's up, dude?
What's going on, George?
How are you?
Doing good.
Looking a little less dusty. You all cleaned up?
Yeah, a little bit. Had to go to work today and stay out of the dirt, so.
I feel you on that, man. So James Hill just left me here at IMG Motorsports freezing by myself. It looks like this guy froze a little bit more than I am, though, so it's all good, right?
Yeah, I was bummed he left, though.
Yeah.
James has they're out here.
Yeah, me too. But yeah, he had to get to his family. I mean, he's been away from his family for a whole week already, so he wanted to get back to his new baby and his wife. So, all right, man. So a couple things that we already asked some of the other drivers that did very well this weekend was like talking about racecraft and how, like, did you let the race come to you, or did you just go balls to the wall right off the beginning? Because everybody has a different strategy, and I kind of want to understand what your guys' and your team's was.
On a normal desert race, we definitely paced ourselves at the beginning, kind of let the race come to us. But this race was a sprint, and I know how fast Caden is, so there was no letting off. The first lap, it was literally like, I felt like I was qualifying the whole lap. And then came only like a minute ahead of Caden, so I knew what pace he was running. So the second lap did the same thing, running the qualifying pace and ended up getting a flat. And at that point, we were 4 minutes ahead of Caden, but he still got around us. Took us 4.5 minutes to change the tire, and he got by me. And then after that, I was just playing catch up.
Yeah, that's terrible, man. But do you remember where you got the flat? Like what actual rock you hit or whatever?
Oh, I do. And I missed it the other 3 laps.
Oh, man. Where was it at? Do you remember on course where it was at?
It was mile like 4.5 or so. It was in a wash, and we started early in the morning. There's a lot of shadows, and in the ruts, I couldn't see it in the shadow. And came in. There's a hard kind of right-hander, so my weight was on the driver's side, and just leaned into the rock hard and took it out.
Yeah, and so for anybody that's watching that doesn't know that area, it's called I think Standard Wash or something like that in Lake Havasu City, Arizona. And there's some washes that you go up, and you can be pretty fast. Like you can go full mat in a normal car, and some of the rocks, they're like sharp rocks, like arrowheads almost, and they're big, and they can stick out of the side of some of the sand washes that go up there. So they could maybe not be their first lap, and they could be their second lap, just sticking out. And I remember a bunch of people having issues on that first part of the course because it was like a tire killer.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of rocks up there. I felt like the pace for running was like being a rock ninja. It's just having to dodge them at such a high speed. It was fun. I mean, definitely a lot of fun.
Yeah, exactly. And so are you looking at the course like fully, or is your co-driver helping try to dodge some of those rocks and stuff too?
No, he helps out a little bit, luckily. I mean, I've raced this race 2 years in a row now and did quite a bit of pre-running. But even from pre-running to race day and after the rally guys went on it, the course changed a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
And I learned that last year. I pre-ran the very first day pre-running was open and not anymore until the race day. And it was a whole different course. So this year I waited with the pre-run and then did it all then.
Would you change any of your weekday or weekend strategy next time? Because a lot of the guys that raced in the rally class, they use that as their, second pre-run basically. So they enter the rally class just so they can go out and check out the course before the day of, professional racing.
I don't know, man. I don't think I can handle any more laps on that course than what I did. I was used up after the 5 that I did.
Yeah.
So I don't know how Caden raced twice in one day. That guy's an animal.
Dude, he's such an animal. And Ethan, the youngster that came on before, he raced 3 classes. He raced on the youth day on Friday, and then he also raced twice on Friday and then once on Saturday. Like, it's crazy to see how much laps they were putting in.
Right, especially that course. I mean, I did Vegas to Reno. That was 500 miles, and I was fine afterwards. But that 145 miles is way worse.
That's crazy, man. Yeah, and so maybe give us a little bit of a breakdown on like how that course actually feels at a race pace, because we were talking to Justin Smith at Shock Therapy a little bit about the chatter bumps and different suspension setups and stuff, but I'd like to understand it from an enthusiast standpoint. Like, what if an enthusiast is going to go out there and drive that same route and go as fast as they possibly can? It's almost like earth-shaking.
And what it is, it's almost hard to see. Like, your eyeballs are vibrating. My co-driver couldn't read the GPS.
Really?
Because it was so chatter bumps. I was also, like Justin said, having some power steering issues. I mean, I don't know if you can see, I have blisters on my hands from the steering wheel, just trying to hold on.
Dude, no way.
It's tough.
When did that happen?
Towards the end of lap 2, it got real bad. Then after that, it was just like having no power steering.
Yeah, John Hubbard's actually commented in and said, would they ever do any course prep between the 2 days or the race days? No, I mean, I think desert racing, it just is what it is, right? That's the way it goes. And I guess that's part of the way it goes, right? Like, that's part of the enjoyment of desert racing is you have to enjoy or go through all of the elements and stuff. But I don't really think that actually would help that much if they try to go prep it. And first of all, I think it's impossible to go prep it, but I don't think it would actually help that much because the dirt is either sandy or loose or whatever it is, and it'll just break up in the first 10 minutes when everybody runs the first lap in the next race anyways.
Right. Like at Laughlin, they prep that course between races. It just gets turned up in the first lap and doesn't really change anything. So. Yeah,
exactly. I think it was Caden Mack said that they were looking at trying to get a new course next year, but we'll have to see, man. To me, I didn't race on Saturday or Friday. I pre-ran on Thursday night after it was kind of used up after qualifying. And it was pretty rough, but it was like a technical rough where I was like, this is going to really be cool to race. Like, I kind of wanted to just ask somebody if I could sit in their car and race with them because I was so excited about it.
Yeah, at first it is technical rough, like the first 2 laps, like Maddie was saying. But after that, those last 3 laps, you just wanted to be over. So,
it's that gnarly?
Longest 29 miles you would ever imagine. I knew that going into it. Last year was the same deal, so I prepared myself a little better this time.
And so what was the strategy for you guys then? Was it more of a kind of like wait till the race comes to you?
No, it was a sprint. I knew I had a good prep in my car and don't really usually have part failures, so just figured let it all hang out there. I knew Kate would be doing the same thing. So I went as hard as I could until I got that flat. Then afterwards, just kept going as hard as I could to keep up with him.
Yeah.
Didn't want him to get ahead.
It's kind of weird how you're forced to race at a different level, right? Wayne Matlock said, yeah, hopefully they'll have a different course, like maybe a 60-mile course next year. We got another comment said, will JD back to be defend to his Nora win from a couple years ago? Are you going to do Nora?
That's the plan. Nora 1000, that's by far the funnest race I've ever raced. I mean,
Dude,
I know
everybody says that.
If you ever get the chance, I recommend doing it.
Yeah,
or being it's
so many people have said that. It's pretty cool. Caden Mack said a new course would even be even the playing field out again. More mileage helps as well. Yeah, I don't disagree with that comment, but I mean, a new course is always fun, and since they have the ability to maybe change it up a little bit, I think it's a good opportunity for them to do it. But they also have limitations. You know, the Bureau of Land Management may, say yes or no to stuff like that. So I think it was a good race, no matter how you look at it.
Yeah, no, for sure. I know Matt Martelli was saying last year they were trying to make the race course this year what the poker run course was, which was like 62 miles, but
yeah.
I guess it didn't happen.
Yeah, even Wayne Matlock said the Nora is one of the best races.
Yeah, we had a good time down there racing against them.
So when you're out there on course, first of all, Caden is putting the pressure down, so you pretty much have no choice to lay back or to run your race. You're basically running his race now because you're on his pace, right? Because he's the one that set that standard or whatever you call it. So how do you and your co-driver and even your team manage those expectations and manage the way that you're going to be able to finish the race?
Honestly, it all comes down to prep before the race, making sure everything's perfect. To have that, I could believe in my car, have that confidence in my car, I could push it that hard, and have all the right parts on it to be able to do that. So basically do the work before the race and then hope it all stays together. Obviously stuff happens, you can't control everything, but like Caden's issue, he had a part failure the last lap, something he's never broke before, but it's racing, unfortunately. And I hate the winter race. I know he's the same way. We talk, it's like, it's fun. Him and I enjoy battling back and forth like that.
Yeah.
And it's fun that way, not when someone breaks.
Yeah, absolutely. But you guys did have, 99% of the race, you guys were battling. Like, we barely saw him fall off at the end. So the strategy, it is what it is, right? Oh, hey, I was going to tell you, too. I commented on the live broadcast. Your livery or your wrap on your car is so sweet, dude. I love that thing. It looks so cool.
Thank you. Yeah, I was trying to keep it fun.
Yeah, Mike Gardner said JD is a beast. You did do a really good job, though, man. And I really do. Even though you think that you were going like full tilt, I think that you kind of, let the race come to you a little bit, because towards those last few laps, it looked like you guys started, and again, I'm just armchair quarterbacking it here, but it looked like you guys fell into a pace where you thought that you were going to be able to keep the car maintained all the way through the finish.
Right. Yeah, I was having, like I said, steering issues, and then also, I'm not sure, some sort of fuel issue. Kind of spitting and sputtering, anything above 20 miles an hour. Don't know what it is. Still don't know what it is yet, but so the pace kind of came down a little bit. And the last lap, once Caden broke, because he broke like 4 miles into the first lap. So at that point, I knew I just had to finish because I had time splits on other people, and I knew they were pretty far back. So I backed down a little bit just to make sure I got there. Still running a decent pace, but conservative for sure.
Yeah. How did you feel afterwards? Were you pretty stoked, man? Because we were definitely stoked for you, and I was getting a bunch of messages being like, yeah, JD won, man. He's so pumped. And obviously we're all bummed for Caden, but he had a good weekend, man, overall.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I was definitely pumped. I've been racing the World Championship since the first year they've had it, and I've never had success. Last year was the best I'd done previous to this year. I got third last year. But prior to that, I've DNF'd every single one of them, just not my race, but finally came together.
Dude, congratulations, man. That's super cool. So, so actually, you're the only other person that I know that's been to every single World Championship other than me, and it sounds like you've raced them all. And I just was a spectator this year, so it's cool that been at every single one of them, 7 of them so far.
Yep. Actually, I take it back. I didn't race one of them because I had 2 broken arms, so I could.
Oh man, how'd you break both your arms?
I actually had a wheel blow up, a B-lock ring blow up off the wheel.
No way.
Yep.
Dude, how gnarly is that? What part did you break? Your arm, like your radius and your ulna?
Yeah, radius ulna on one arm, and then basically these 3 fingers on this hand.
Dude, that's crazy, man.
area. Yeah.
Kim is saying, hi, Dirt Life Show. Congratulations, JD. That's so cool, man, that you were able to attend, well, we'll say all of them except for one because you had 2 broken arms, but that's a lot of dedication to go out there, and it paid off this year.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so we asked a few of the other people that were on the show earlier. It's clear that you obviously had a good race and you were pumped on that. Everybody in your camp, I'm sure, was fanatic about it after the race. But what was some of the cool stuff, or maybe a cool story that happened off the track?
Well, we had a goal. Me and RJ and Ronnie, were pretty tight friends, and our goal was to have 3 podiums. And we almost had it. Unfortunately, Ronnie had a part failure. But jumping out of my race, I instantly jumped in the helicopter to chase Ronnie's race, which that was pretty fun. Like, got out of the suit, changed my clothes, and literally 20 minutes later, I was in a helicopter flying over start of Ronnie's race.
Nice.
That topped everything.
Yeah, that is super cool. It's a different perspective, right? Because now that you just got off the track and you're like, dude, it was so burly, and then you see it from that point of view, it's probably like, oh, wow.
It's easier from the air.
Yeah, but you can relay quickly in your head. Yeah, I seen that. You're probably looking for the rock that was got the tire, like all kinds of stuff, right?
Yep, that was pretty cool. It's the first time I got a chance to do that. I've been to a lot of races and never had a chance to chase one in a helicopter. So,
actually, John Huppert's actually asked a question here. He said only 30% of the Pro Turbos finished on the lead lap. Is that the typical attrition in a race like that?
I would say in a race like that, it's similar to like Laughlin. It's a sprint, rough race. So, but other races like Vegas to Reno, Silver State, there's a lot higher finishing rate.
Yeah, and even down in Baja, John, I think there's it's probably about 40% of them don't finish, maybe 30% of them. So for that many to be taken out, I think it's 2 things. I think it's because it's a sprint race, like JD was talking about, and you really just have to go for it because, you know, like his main competitor, Caden Wells, he went for it. Like, so JD didn't have a choice. Like, that's the race. That's the pace that they're going to set, and that's where they have to go. And then second is, like he was saying, there's rock killers out there all over the place. The track gets really choppy. It's got a lot of chatter bumps in it, and even not the massive whoops, but enough whoops to take out a car to do damage. So it's just a battle of, like the word you use, attrition or perseverance, man. You just got to go out there and do as best you can with the limited flexibility in your racecraft as possible.
Right. It's got to push it hard, but you can't push it too hard.
Yeah. And so what do you guys like? What's the vibe inside the car when you talk like that? Is your co-driver keeping you at bay? Are you like, is he telling you go fast? Like, what's the vibe?
No, actually, I'm a pretty calm person in general. And after our tire change, it took, like I said, 4.5 minutes. Was a little long. I had to get out and help because the jack kept sinking in the sand.
Oh.
So by the time I got back in, it was 4.5 minutes, and he was pretty upset about it. And I said, hey, man, it's behind us now. We just got to focus on what's in front of us and keep pushing. And it came to us.
Yeah, that's cool, man. And sometimes, John, it's just about luck, dude. Like it really is. Like the in the Pro Turbo race, you were up in the air, obviously checking it out, but those guys started off with a pace that there was zero way that they could finish. But they didn't have a choice because one guy started like that. The other guy has to jump on that pace. The other guy has to jump on that pace. And unfortunately, those guys that jumped on that pace, I think it was the top 5 guys, like right around lap 3.5, 4, they just stopped. I mean, all those cars stopped. They all either had a mechanical issue or a driver error.
Right. Yep. It's unfortunate, but that's how it goes. One guy sets the pace and the other ones have to keep up. Otherwise, they'll just fall behind, and that front guy might get lucky and finish, and they have no choice or no chance to winning.
Yeah, exactly. Kimball, I don't understand this question, but he said, what dirt cars do y'all use? JD asked him.
What
dirt cars? Maybe, I don't know. You use a Polaris RZR, I know, to race the Desert Series. What kind of chassis is that? Is it 2-seat, 4-seat?
2-seat Polaris RZR NA.
Yeah, it's a pretty nice car, too. It's got really, really sweet stickers on it, so go check it out on his Instagram page. In fact, what is your Instagram page? Because I love that name.
It's J_Drizzle.
Yeah.
These.
He's got some good content on there of the car, though, too. And, yeah, so I really think it's cool you got to go up in the helicopter and stuff, too. We were talking about it with Justin. We were talking about it with James from IMG. The vibe from the people, though, everybody comes out to help you. It's a family environment. You know, you do have some volunteers and things like that. Like, how much do you appreciate all of the people that were as part of your team this weekend?
Oh, it's awesome. I mean, that's what it's all about. Desert racing, everybody's one big family. Yeah, your competitors on the course, but you're there to help somebody if you can. Like we were chasing around Ronnie, but then we saw Dustin Jones on his side, so we stopped the helicopter over them so the chase crews could come find where he was at on the side to come help him out.
Oh, that's cool.
Everybody helps everybody out, so makes it a lot of fun.
That vibe is so cool, man. And I saw that so much being not a racer this weekend because I got to talk with everybody, all the teams and different people. It was really, really cool to see that, man. And there was a lot of people that didn't have good races, but the general vibe, even after that, because they either did get help or because they just stayed positive, they were stoked.
Right. That's what it's all about. It's got to have fun. Definitely have to take it serious, then there's no point in doing it.
Yeah, exactly. Jesse Nelson says hello, JD.
What's up, Jesse?
All right, so what's on the roster for you coming up, man? Are you going to do any more races in 2021?
Yeah, I plan on doing the next Best in the Desert race. I just got moved to California City. I actually have a lot going on right now, moving houses, and I have to be out of here next week, and I haven't really started doing anything yet. So on top of prepping the car to race that race in 2 weeks is going to be, or 3 weeks, it might be a little tough. Might do the Mint. And other than that, I'm not sure yet.
Man, that would be cool to see. So, yeah, it sounds like you're not going to have time to go for 2 weeks down in Baja for this Peninsula run.
Yeah, really just depending on how my car was after this race. And like I said, it's not running very good. I don't know if it's an internal issue in the motor or what, but that's going to take some work to figure that out. And I wanted to show up just to hopefully finish. I want to show up to do well again.
Yeah, exactly. Kimball Cameron just said that they followed your Instagram page. So you got a fan over there, dude. Sweet.
Thank you.
Yeah, and Gasnator said, JD, hello, son. You're a badass. Dude, that's 100% true. Jesse Nelson's got to throw in the Franken beans. What was the best thing you ate up there, dude?
Actually, we barbecued at the house one night. My buddy Nick Greiner ran us to Rock. I threw down some tri-tip for us. I think it was like 15 pounds of tri-tip. And that was nice. Just hanging out at the house, swimming, barbecuing. That was probably our best meal.
Oh, dude, that's super cool. Yeah, looks like Roma Motorsports also chimed in. Obviously, Jesse Nelson. It's super cool to see, especially a hardworking dude like you, man, moving, going through all this stuff, even with a car that may or may not have been the fastest it could have been all weekend. Yeah, actually, one last question. Do you think it would have been a benefit, because Caden raced his NA car in the turbo class, or one of his NA cars in the turbo class. How do you think like you would have done had you had that? Because Justin Smith and James both said they would probably still pick the turbo.
I would probably pick the turbo still, just because the sand washes. You can make up a lot of time with the horsepower. You get a lot higher speed down the sand washes. The windy stuff, definitely NA cars are nice, but yeah, you can adapt in a turbo car and figure that out as well. So I think I'd pick a turbo car.
Yeah, you think a turbo car would have had a big advantage? Because, I mean, like, dude, Caden was making some pretty good lap times there in that pro turbo class still in the rough course.
Right. I think the biggest advantage, honestly, is having a lightweight car.
Yeah.
All the parts, you could build a heavy turbo car and it's not going to do good, or a heavy NA car and it's not going to do good.
Good point. I mean, look at the winner, Phil Blurton, right? Limited amount of suspension, just had a lightweight car and just crushed it. So, all right, man. Well, I appreciate it. We're going to get Ryan Edwards from KMC on the horn here real quick. But I hope that you guys are able to get out to the races and have some fun with the Mint 400, because we're going to go out there, and that's going to actually be the first time I've ever been to the Mint 400 this year.
It's a nice one. It's a lot of fun. The track's also super rough, but the venue's fun.
All right, right on, man. Hey, Ryan, you going to congratulate JD on shredding?
Dude, you were on the gas out there.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
So, yeah, we appreciate it, JD. Thanks so much for hanging out with us tonight, dude. Go have some fun with your family, and congratulations again.
All right, thank you.
We'll see you, buddy. All right, Ryan Edwards from KMC Wheels, dude. You were out there doing it at the UTV World Championship. You had double duty. You had to work the event. You also had to race the event, and you also had to support pit crew at the event, dude. We got all kinds of comments coming in. I can't even see them. They're coming in so fast.
It's Jesse Nelson being Jesse Nelson.
Oh, always, dude. I'm surprised he didn't put a filter on you at some point on this.
Yeah.
It sounds like your audio kind of broke up a little bit. Make sure you got some good Wi-Fi wherever you're at.
I was too far away from it.
Okay, cool. All right, so give us a little bit of a rundown of the weekend, because, like I said, you had triple duty. You had pit crew duty, you had work duty with supporting KMC, and you also raced out there.
Yeah, I'm still on work duty. I'm cleaning the car right now, so it never ends. But that's what I do. We just juggle all the different tasks, and we get out there and we just represent.
Ryan likes white wine and scones. He does. He's kind of bougie. He lives in Orange County, dude.
I'm not Ryan Edwards.
That's true, because Guy just likes to be way more bougie than you.
Yeah, pinky out kind of guy.
All right, so what was one of the coolest things about the whole weekend? Because I know you had a lot of stuff to do before you actually got out there on the track. Did you get to pre-run at all?
Didn't get to pre-run. All my pre-run notes came from you, George.
Well, yeah. That's not a very good person to get pre-run notes from. But no, so you didn't get to pre-run, but you did have to work. And like, honestly, I haven't got into this yet, but the tech and contingency, I don't know how many people were there. There had to be 5,000 or 10,000 people that walked through all day, but it was fantastic to have a big tech and contingency again. Were you amped on it?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that was my favorite part of the whole weekend, was how busy, how packed the Havasu streets were. I mean, it almost had like the Mexico contingency vibe of like,
yep,
we're here to party, check out all the products, and like have a good time.
And it was cool because there was so many vendors there in full force, and then there was like some bars people could walk into. There was an ice cream shop for the kids. Like, it just had everything.
Yeah, I like I said, I mean, it just had the vibe of like a old school race that, you know, we haven't really had in California in a long time. So, I mean, Havasu being Arizona, we're right there, but still, it's everything we want in a contingency as a sponsor and you know, working for a company. So it gets us out there, and you know, who cares if we have a crappy race? We still have fun at contingency.
Yeah, exactly. And you got to see everybody too. All right, so let's get a little bit more into the race and into the track, because we've been talking about that a lot tonight. Is I guess people's racecrafts in general and how they're going to attack the races. Like in the pro classes, everybody just went balls to the wall right away because one person did. So they didn't have a choice on whether they were going to let the race come to them or not. Like, they had to stay up there in the front. But in the rally class, was it any different, or was it kind of the same way? Oh, it looks like we lost Ryan, so we'll wait and have him come back and answer that question. I think it's Wayne Matlock. Jesse is so mate. He really is, man. I'm surprised Jesse doesn't have a way to like put filters on us, Wayne, like while he's remotely like watching the show, make it look like us looking all funny too. Dusty Summit, Jason, how are you, dude? Dune and Destroy, guys. When are you headed to Sand Hollow? I don't know who you're asking, dude. You're not asking me because I'm not going to Sand Hollow. It's good to see you, Jason. You got some really, really good shots, man. Maybe we'll have you tell us what Dustin Battleaxe Jones. Let's get him on here real quick, and then we'll get Ryan as well. We could talk to both of them about it a little bit. Maybe Ryan can give us a little bit more of a breakdown on how he pursues his racecraft as well.
Sorry, George, I fat fingered it. Oh, look, there's Dustin.
Yeah.
Well.
Hey, so let me give Dustin a proper introduction here. So Dustin, the Battle Axe Jones. Hey, I gave away a couple secrets on the live broadcast. I told everybody that you're a mechanical engineer and that you had used your fists in a fight before.
Yeah, dude, I've done a little bit of everything. So not just racing, bro. I'm kind of smart. Believe it or not by the accent. I actually am kind of smart, and I like fighting people. So I was a cage fighter for a little while before I raced. So not many people know about that.
Battle Axe Jones fight gone down yet?
Is what?
Has the Cowboy versus Dustin fight gone down yet?
Oh, yeah. But, man, we didn't make a big deal out of that. You know what I mean? We just, we just freaking.
You just backed off and let him have the victory?
Yeah, dude. I mean, that's his thing. You know what I mean? Like, racing is my deal. So, like, Cowboy knows every time we go out on the track, like, I'm gonna win. And fighting's his deal. So, like, anytime we spar, like, I let him win, dude. It's just.
I didn't get the memo to wear my KMC hat today. I just wore my KMC sweater, dude. I'm slacking.
Oh, man. Well, I am a factory-sponsored KMC racer, and they just recently gave me the hog hunting edition, full camo. And so that's actually what we're going to do tonight. So I had to get my camo hat out for this one tonight.
Oh, well, thanks for joining us and taking the time with us. So I was just asking Ryan, I want both of you to answer this question. Like, what's the racecraft that you guys think of maybe on the starting line or after the first lap to be able to get through a course like this? Because we were talking to Wayne Matlock and a bunch of other people, you know, if one guy goes out there and goes balls to the wall, your racecraft has changed. You don't have a choice. You got to go balls to the wall now. But did you start with that attitude? Like, is that what you were going for?
Ryan, do you want to answer first? You want me to answer?
Mine's probably completely different than yours because you started out the whole thing. But I mean, my biggest thing being in a stock-based vehicle, or mostly stock, was just get through the first 2 laps and then kind of just keep everybody in front of me within arm's reach and then start racing the course. And obviously, I only made it to the 3rd lap, but I think for me, it was just getting the feel for it. That course, like, you had no flow. There was no way you could get in a rhythm, so you just kind of had to let it per se.
Yeah, that makes a good point. And so let's make sure that we remember what Ryan's saying here, is because I feel like that mentality or that racecraft is what led these guys to do well in the Pro Turbo class. Caden Wells, Phil Blurton. But what was your start, Dustin? Like, were you just like ready to rip right off? Like,
yeah, man. I mean, since this is not a series race for us, and I've already won the World Championships one time. Like,
oh, look at this guy just making us feel like crap.
His medal.
Oh man, bro, I had it on just a minute ago. I literally just took it off when I got here.
Were you?
I've been wearing it all day long. But most races, to be honest with you, like we've been able to run with the fast guys quite a bit. So like, what the pace is that you need to be running. If you're running an upfront pace or not. And so for this one, like we had nothing to lose. So we were coming out there to either crash the car or win the race. And I was fully prepared to do both of those or either one, whatever happened first.
That start with Robbie was pretty gnarly.
Dude.
Oh, Robbie got freaking drugged down the straightaway, dude. Son of the gun.
Give him a chance to get in front of you.
Not a chance.
Posted right in front of him.
Bro, I had freaking the nitrous bottle under the seat, hidden, cranked wide open. So whenever we saw that we were starting right beside Robbie, like he qualified right beside us, I was like, yeah, D, it's time to put the bottle on. So we freaking went back to the house, got everything ready, and we wasn't going to lose that whole shot for sure.
Yeah, it was cool to see though, and I'm gonna just for argument's sake, I'm gonna give Robbie and Max both kudos because they both finished the race and they were both ripping.
Yeah, they were moving.
But yeah, so that kind of, when I saw that, because I was in the studio when I saw that, but I saw you take off, Dustin, and I was like, dude, I know his race, he's going for it. Like he's like on one right now because the start just basically said everything.
I was in the pits right across from that, and the amount of rocks you were throwing in his face right off the start was absolutely unbelievable. Like, it's almost like you had paddle tires on your car.
Dude, we was we call it spraying mustard, and so we painted the front of that car for sure. Hey. Not intentional, like for sure I didn't want to blast his car, but man, whenever that time comes on, like it's a race, you know what I mean? Ryan, you and I would do that to you, and I feel like vice versa, you would do that to me. Like, you're not going to give up the line. And I respect that. Like,
right?
There's no issue. There's no issue right there with me. Like, if you were to take the line, I get it. I know what you're there to do. You know what I mean?
At Laughlin, Cowboy said, if you leave the inside open, I'm going to roll you.
That's actually a funny story. So I had that conversation with Cowboy before Laughlin because, where we come from, we do a lot of dead engine starts. And, like, it's really common, 6, 7, 8 cars wide, dead engine start. And so Cowboy, like, he was asking me before the race, like, man, what do you think? Like, what should I do? I helped him get his car starting really fast because we thought it was going to be a dead engine start. And I said, Cowboy, this is what I do at every single dead engine race. I go to the 2 guys beside me, and I let them know. I said, I'm going to tell you right now, buddy, if you like your car, you're going to want to check up before this first corner. I will yard sale my car in the first turn. And usually people are like, oh, all right, man. Okay, we'll see.
So we pretty much don't need to ask then, did you let the race come to you? Because you didn't. It's pretty clear. Funny story too. Ryan, thank you for the beers. Scully's drinking one of them over here.
He already looks a couple deep.
Yeah, he's having fun though. He's doing some good stuff. What'd you say?
Bro, those are sweet because we.
Dave.
What do you say, Ryan?
Is George breaking up?
No, go ahead, Ryan.
Are you sure that's not James's crew member, Whiskey Dave, drinking?
Yeah, it is. I saw Emily Edwards said Gunner says hello, and she did.
Upstairs.
He was saying that to me, cuz you chill out, Ryan. He was saying that to me.
Battle of his dads right here. Dustin's
Yeah. I'm his uncle daddy now. Ever since saying Sports Super Show, I'm his uncle daddy.
Yeah,
dude.
He sees Dustin. He just wants to do foot races all over the place.
Dude, the dude had me wore out. For people that don't know, Gunner is Ryan's little boy. Ryan, how old is your little boy?
He'll be 4 in December.
Because he got some super long hair, kind of looks mullety, and all he wants to do is foot race people. That's all he cares about.
And he likes jorts, so.
That's a good thing, too. Hey, we got to have Christian Serapis give him some pointers on how to be a fast white lightning.
Faster than he is now, because he's already beaten me.
Right, he's already got wheels. Gunner got wheels for sure.
Once he gets together, he'll be out there.
Yeah.
Dustin, we're getting all kinds of comments coming in. I can't keep up with them. I know the Do and Destroy guys said come out to Sand Hollow, it looked like. But you've been out here on the West Coast already so much the past few weeks or month.
Yeah, dude, we were out there for Trail Hero for a week in Sand Hollow. I freaking love riding that place. And we literally went straight from Sand Hollow to Lake Havasu for the World Championship. And so, man, we got up at 2 a.m. yesterday morning, started driving, and made it home at midnight last night. Oh. And so we drove straight through, only stopped for fuel, and got home last night at midnight.
Dude, you're intense, man. What an animal. Well, thank you for taking the time and hanging out with us, dude. I appreciate that.
You already know.
So we got to jump off here in just a couple minutes, but Ryan, why don't you go first? Tell me what the funnest part of your weekend aside from racing was.
Hanging out with you, George.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate it. No, but seriously, though, I mean, you had the family there and everybody. Like, it looked like a really good weekend for you guys.
Yeah, I think just bringing back to the regular race vibes. No cars on trailers and tech, like fans there. I mean, it was just all around, made it feel like 2-3 years ago,
Yeah, exactly. How about you, Dustin? Did you have anything cool happen off the track, or what was your funnest part that was off the track?
Yeah, so a couple of things happened. One's crazy side story, but mainly the big deal to me was, we had some adversity at this race. We really had to work through and get the car to finish. We freaking cartwheeled the car and tore the car all up, got it back going. And so, man, we were honored and blessed enough to get the Perseverance Award from Rob.
Congratulations, man. Congratulations.
Man. And honestly, dude, that's an award that I've wanted for a couple of years since we've been racing the World Championships, man. And not because I wanted to have to overcome adversity, but because it's just I don't know, to me, it's such a valuable award. It truly means something to Rob whenever he gives that out.
It's really prestigious, but ain't nobody want to win that thing.
Yeah, that's the tough part, right? Is it sucks to get it, but man, it really, really means something. So I was really excited about that.
Well, congratulations on that, man. I think it's really cool that you guys got that. Did you see what happened to them, Ryan, when they tipped over?
I didn't. I'm still trying to catch up on everything.
Give us a little bit of a lowdown, Dustin.
Yeah, so we ended up with going out on the second lap and caught a flat tire. So we stopped, and believe it or not, Justin with Shock Therapy, they were on the side of the track working on their car. Right where we stopped, dude, they jumped in immediately, told us, don't even get out of the car. We will change the tire for you. And they did, man. They swapped the tire for us, and so we cut back out. Didn't make it 2 miles down the track and cut another tire. And so we were didn't have another tire, so we were 20 miles from the pit. So I was like, dude, screw it. We got to go for it. So we were ripping through, started swapping ends a little bit in the wash and freaking high-sided on a berm, put the car over on the lid. And so, got out, tried flipping it, dude, couldn't flip it over. We're trying to drag it and push it and stick rocks under it. And finally, we got some help on the track from the Best in the Desert guys. They came by and flipped us back over. Drove the car in, fixed the car, got back out there, finished all 5 laps, and got 10th place. So,
holy shit. Yeah, you deserve that award.
Because it was not a fun day for me. I'm going to be honest with you. It was going great until it wasn't going great.
What time did you guys cross the finish line?
I don't know. It was, probably 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock or something like that.
Dude, so that's crazy.
It was a tough little run.
Yeah.
Oh, so it looks here man. So Ryan, I don't know if you know, but almost none of them, let's see here, 11 people finished all 5 laps, and it looks like Dustin almost got to the fourth lap, but you was just too much time out on course, huh?
Yeah. No, we finished all 5.
Wow.
Okay, so you got to get with Martelli because the stats don't say that same thing.
I'll roundhouse Creek Martelli. You just tell him right now. I swear, dude.
Get him on the phone. Call him.
Yeah, call him up now. Call him.
So no wonder the Perseverance Award means even that much more now, man. Well, dude, congratulations on that, man. I really think it's awesome that you guys won that award. But still, I want to hear a funny story that happened with you and your crew. I mean, like Ryan knows, we found some machaca tacos. He got a burrito or something.
$45 burrito.
Yeah, dude, you know I've always got some crazy stories. So actually, if you follow my Instagram, like you would have seen a lot of it. The week before I came out there, I bought a drone out of the blue, like just decided I want to start flying drones, okay?
I know.
And so we started flying it through the city. We're kind of terrorizing the little kids in the park. We were taping candy to our drones and going out there and making the little kids chase our drones around. So me and Quentin brought them. Yeah, it seems ridiculous. And so we would back the drones up real fast so we could keep the camera on those kids. They was tripping and falling and throwing rocks on it. So that night, ridiculous. That night, I decided I wanted to go land it on our city water tower. I just thought that would be a cool thing to do. So we landed the drone up there, and then Quentin brought his drone in and like landed it. It was like, oh, that's sweet. All right, let's take off. So when I took off, like it just shot sideways, flipped over upside down on top of the water tower. And we were like, hey, dude, let's go get a grappling hook. Let's connect it to your drone. Let's get your drone off the water tower, my drone off the water tower, yours. So we took Quentin's up there with a grappling hook, flipped his drone over, crashed that one. And so we were like, dude, what are we going to do? We got 2 drones stuck on top of this water tower. So while I was out of town, my boy Quentin stepped up. We went and bought a 3rd drone. So I bought one while I was out of town, and that was the tow rig. So he flew it up there, got his drone down, cool, got his clean and clear, got mine down, was coming back down, and they started freaking swinging back and forth and just crashed to the concrete, destroyed 2 brand new drones.
Dude.
So after the fact, and I feel like y'all can attest to this, after the fact, people were like, Dustin, if you went and bought a brand new drone, why didn't you just keep that drone and just don't worry about the other one?
You're dead set on it.
I mean, you understand, Ryan, like you can't leave one behind.
Like leaving a man.
Dustin's drone program, dude. Hey, guys, I don't know if you noticed, but who we got on the line here? We got 4-time UTV World Championship winner, Phil Blurton, on with us. We're gonna get.
Bro, I'm gonna have to jump off. I don't even feel worthy, bro. I got to get off the phone.
You're welcome. You're welcome to stay, Dustin.
Hey, Ryan. So I'm gonna kick both you and Dustin off, though. I really appreciate you guys coming on. We're gonna get Bo Judge on here as well. So thanks, boys. Really appreciate it. Dustin, I'm gonna take no drone lessons from you. I'm gonna just learn it all on my own. We'll see both of you guys later. Please tell Gunner and all the crew hello too.
Will do, guys. Later.
Bye, boys.
See you guys.
See you, Phil.
See ya.
So, Phil, thank you very much for joining us. We really appreciate it, man. And again, congratulations on doing your 4-peat, dude. We're gonna get Bo on here as well, so we can talk a little bit more about the races and what happened. But, dude, you're home. Have you gotten any rest yet?
A little bit. Got home late last night and went straight to the shop, unloaded everything, and now back home finally.
Living that race life. Bo Judge, what's up, man? How are you?
Good. How's it going?
We're doing good, man. So you haven't seen this guy in a little while, right?
He actually drove separate this race. He bailed right after the race and drove all the way home. Got home at 4 a.m.
Yeah, I was talking to Bo a little bit last night, and he was saying, like, there is literally no rest for the wicked with your guys' team right now.
No, it's been definitely a crazy. The whole year's been crazy. I mean, leading up to this race, I was gone testing some stuff for the 1,000. Bo was at the works race. We both came back, but we met at the shop on Tuesday and started prepping the car that we left Wednesday with to go race this race.
Dude, that's so crazy, man. You guys really are doing a good job, though. So we actually had a couple people chime in with comments and things like that earlier. And before we get into like your guys' full race and what your guys' strategy was, I don't remember exactly the comment, but they were saying, was that a car that was a desert car? And I said, no, it was a King of the Hammers car, and it had limited amount of suspension. And they started talking about all of that. You guys basically just did a run what you brung kind of deal to the UTV World Championships this year.
Yeah, we built that car 2 years ago for King of the Hammers, and we never even like powder coated it originally. we kind of plan on this. There's a one race throwaway car. We liked it so much. We stripped it down, powder coated it, raced it another year at King of the Hammers. And then this year it's kind of been our Swiss Army knife. We raced San Felipe 250 with that car, Silver State 300. We've kind of been, it's such a fun little car to drive. We've been using it all over the place.
Yeah. How do you feel about that car, Bo? It seems like it's pretty tried and true.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I'm always like a firm believer when the car is just light and stuff. It's always good on it. All of our moving parts and the car just works really good. Being a smaller person, it's a little bit harder to see out of the other cars, where this one's really good. So it's really good in the car. And when you're going over hills and stuff, we can stay on a little bit longer. Our car, like nimble, really well, and we've done well in it every time we've raced that car.
Yeah, it looks like it's a pretty awesome car. Hey, Bo, just real quick, it looks like we got kind of a little bit of a sketchy maybe Wi-Fi or cell phone service, so maybe you could switch to either your cell phone and get off Wi-Fi or vice versa real quick. But so was the car, did it have limited suspension, Phil, or what was the deal with the suspension?
Those are just some shocks that we built really for like a track like Silver State. And we used them when we raced at Glen Helen, when we kind of did the short course race with Best in the Desert last year. And they're like a really stiff set of shocks. So we thought in qualifying we could go beat on that thing. And when we used it at qualifying, we're like, oh, let's just race them. It seems good.
That's so crazy, man. But like, it's got to be like, I don't know if you noticed, Phil, but they were waving to us in the background there. They're having some fun.
Yeah. We just got done doing some math homework right before this. So.
Is it Common Core?
No, not at the school my kids go to. It was long division, like the traditional way, like I learned it, and it was a little rough for me to go back and figure out how to write it all on paper again.
Yeah, dude, I hate that Common Core stuff. Yeah, Breck, I don't know how to say it, Miramon or something, says Bo doesn't know how to use Wi-Fi. He just throttles.
That's pretty much you.
Oh, right on.
He actually got second in the NA short course race.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, right on. Well, congratulations to him too. So overall, I mean, the weekend seemed like it was a pretty good weekend for you guys, but I guess going along the same theme that you just run what you brung, you didn't even get to pre-run or anything. I mean, you guys basically just showed up.
Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, we both, we were really looking forward to this race, but our schedule just got so busy that, we normally show up to every race like.
Is there somebody watching the live feed in the background? Because we're getting a pretty bad echo.
You got your phone on over there? We got like, we go into every race like 200%, and for some reason, this is like the one race we've ever done that we kind of showed up last minute, limited crew, prepped the car last minute. And then, we had obligations to go do it. And when we got there, we went through qualifying. And it was like, once we hit that last finish line jump at qualifying, me and Bo were like, we need to check our heads in the game and really focus on this one. Kind of bummed us out. We didn't get to pre-run, it felt like Am I back there?
Yeah, it looks like you didn't get to pre-run. It kind of bummed you out.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a disadvantage to us. And then, we checked our heads in it and made the best of it. And it seemed like it worked out for us.
Yeah, we've been talking about racecraft on the show tonight, and like it's really crazy to see because like it looked like everybody wanted to just come out guns blazing. I mean, like the 2-row starts and or the 2 side-by-side starts, and everybody was just so amped and on fire. And everybody kept talking about it like at the beginning of the broadcast. Nope, like the only way to win this thing is to just go balls to the wall and see if your car doesn't break. And it looks like you, Caden Wells, and a few other people, like the real win was actually pacing yourself at least a little bit.
Yeah, I think obviously all we got to see since we didn't pre-run was the qualifying course, but I got a pretty good grasp of what the track was going to be like. I think a lot of people had a misconception on, the short mileage of the race, but really you race a Silver State race or something that's twice the mileage, is way easier on the car. So that first lap, we got the whole shot on Ronnie, and then maybe like 3 corners in, Ronnie just made this bonsai pass on us. And I said, it's too early in the race. Let's just let him go run his pace, kind of hoping that him and Bruce would go up there and duke it out. And I think, they set like a 3-minute lap faster than us. And my pit crew was like, hey, they put 3 minutes on you guys in one lap. I go, I could run that 3 minute lap faster, or that lap 3 minutes faster, but I don't think I can run it for 5 laps that fast.
Yeah.
And, we just decided that was the pace that we knew our car could go.
Yeah, Beanquist set, like, I don't know if it was the fastest lap all weekend or whatever, but it was like a 42 something. Like, it was insane fast. And like Martelli and I on the broadcast, we were like, dude, there's no way that can hold up. And a lap and a half later, it didn't work out.
Yeah, I think the most common thing you hear in desert racing is, I was winning at mile 50. It's like, well, did you win at the end or just at mile 50,
Yeah, exactly. And so, Bo, if you can hear us now, like, what was the mindset when you guys were talking back and forth in the car? You didn't get the pre-run and you guys take off, and are you guys just like, all right, let's just let the race come to us and see how it goes? I mean, you didn't even bring a desert car.
Yeah, for sure. For the most part, after, racing with all these people, we kind of know how they drive. We learn every personality. And, I race with Ronnie and work. We know, like, he's an aggressive guy, and it's like, so when right away.
I think you got to go outside your shop, Bo, where the cell phones work.
Yeah, maybe do that. Like, see if you can get somewhere else a little bit better, because it's a little bit hard to hear you. It's really spotty. I know
every time I'm in your shop, I got to walk outside to talk on the phone.
So, that race strategy, though, like, it still baffles me, because I was sitting there going, all right, these guys are really hauling the mail. Like, these cars, if they stand up to what is going on, it'll work out for them. But I think, 5 or 6 people dropped off after that third lap, and then you guys started coming towards the front.
Yeah, we saw at one point, Piplick actually came up and gave us a little bump. I think the last bump we've got from somebody was years ago, and Piplick came up, gave us a bump. We moved out of his way to let him go, but it was like he turned down the wrong path and ended up letting Dustin get in front of him. And then Dustin kind of hung like right outside of our dust, and it seemed like Piplick was right behind him for maybe, I don't know if it was 2 laps or whatnot, but those guys were the ones that we were like, they can consistently run with us. So, and then last lap, Piplick was still there, beating us by 2.5 seconds, I think, going into the last lap.
Yeah, so let's talk about that a little bit, Bo. Give me, we'll see if your audio is a little bit better now. What was the vibe in the car when you figured out that it was basically you guys and Piplick for the last couple laps as a battle?
Yeah, it was he's a good driver and stuff, so we were just a little bit concerned, I guess, but no matter what, at the end of the day, we can only race the course as fast as we feel that the car can handle. If he can go better than us and pass us, then that's just, go for it. But all we could do is what we can do. We know pretty much what the car can handle, and we just got to go with that. But going into that last lap, whenever they said we need to make up 4 seconds, it's like, I'd say from race mile 2 to 7, I could kind of sense that Phil kind of picked it up, and I was like, let's don't get a flat right here. Like, it's a pretty rocky section. And he started to pick it up after that, and we ended up getting a flat and then jumping out and fixing it. Piplick got by. And then, probably at race mile 20, I think it was, he was fixing a flat. So it was kind of at that point, we kind of knew that there was no one else in the hunt. And once we got by him, we just kind of cruised to the finish line.
Yeah, dude, I got to admit, like, just talking to you guys, because I haven't really had any intimate conversations with you guys either at the track or even virtually like we have now, but just talking with you guys, it seems like in the car you guys have a really good vibe of understanding of what each other are doing, where you need to push and what you need to do to make these race wins happen. And that's kind of what I was talking about on the live broadcast is you really had to be flexible in your racecraft to be able to make the right decisions to be able to win this race. Like, it wasn't just go out and tear up the car just to win the race. Like, you couldn't do that.
Yeah, for the most part, everyone's like, we're kind of thinking it's a 150-mile race, so it's not as long. But the track was, it was brutal. It was fun. We like it. The rougher it gets, the more we like it, because we know it's just
Hi, how's everybody doing?
Minus out some of the competition, so it's like we like it when it gets super rough. We weren't too pumped on the shocks were super good, but in that chatter we just weren't like really ready for that. We've never raced it before. We didn't pre-run, so but all in all, like, at the end of the day, you can't say that you chose the wrong shock package or anything when you won the race, you know, but it was good. It was a fun race.
Yeah, it was good. Well, now we also have Tiffany Stone. She also interviewed you guys on the podium, off-road extraordinaire herself. She's going to give us a little bit more of an insight on what was happening down on the track at the UTV Worlds, and kind of go along with the same stuff that we've been talking about your guys' racecraft, because it was pretty clear that your guys' racecraft what made the most impact on you guys winning the race.
Hi guys, how are you doing?
Good.
Wonderful. It's so good to see some familiar faces that I saw just a few days ago. So big congratulations to everybody again.
Hey, Bo, turn your phone down a little bit so it's not so echoey for us. Tiffany, what was one of the things that you noticed mostly when you were seeing all the racers coming in, and obviously not coming in as well, because their racecraft was pretty intense?
No, you guys are absolutely correct. Down in the hot pits, you know, everybody starts out. We had 37 different drivers, and lap by lap by lap, everything was kind of going on. And you just saw a bunch of drivers just drop out. Things and pieces I heard were all over the desert. I'm assuming, Phil, you know, you can kind of see all of that as well. There was just pieces and carnage, you know, after laps that you kind of see out there. And, you know, a lot of drivers, their day ended pretty early just because of what was happening, like you guys said, with the chatters and the bumps and just everything with the big ruts. I got a chance to do, you know, the poker run, which is only a little bit of the course. So you guys obviously completely different view on the last day of Saturday.
Yeah, it was a little bit, you know, I don't know, Bo maybe saw a different view than I did in the driver's seat, but I didn't see like a ton of broken down cars out there. I don't know if they were like, people were breaking down and leaving the course, or if they were breaking down and staying in the pits, but for the most part, Bo, don't you think it felt like everybody was racing with us until we got some info from the pit saying that, you know, there's really nobody else in the hunt with us?
No, I mean like parts, not necessarily cars, just broken A-arms here, broken hubs here. That's what I meant, not just cars. I meant like the entire, like, just parts of cars.
We definitely saw Robbie Gordon's whole bedside hanging out on the hillside out there.
Oh, so our boy Josh Metzger in the shock therapy helicopter got that whole thing flying off the car on camera. That's crazy. That track was rough, though, and I don't know, Bo, if you turn your volume down or if you can still hear us, but yeah, maybe you can kind of answer a little bit of what Tiffany's talking about, because, dude, I think it was maybe 2/3 of the field actually, like, couldn't finish the race.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely was rough, and we did talk about it. Like, there's a couple times, you know, where we both, when it gets super rough like that, I don't know what it is about us, but it's like we hit that chatter and it starts shaking us and our kidneys are hurt. We just like, I don't know, we'll just like laugh and be like, dude, it's so rough. Like, this is so harsh. Like, it's fun, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, it is rough, but we just power through it and just try to get our job done. You know, it's like, we know we only got to do it for 3 hours or 4 hours, whatever it's going to be, but we just get the job done. It has to be, there's no, you know, we just got to do it. But yeah, I didn't really remember seeing too many just like actual parts out there, but you know, maybe in the lap you've seen maybe 10 cars out there just on that whole 30-mile loop, just kind of here and there, but it wasn't, I didn't think it was too bad.
All right, so what was the pressure like, and Tiffany can actually probably get a vibe from this, what was the pressure like to try to see if you guys could win and four-peat that UTV World Championship?
Oh man, I don't know. It's tough when you've won every one you've entered. So it's only downhill from there. So you know, we sat last year out and came back, and we wanted to make a big swing at it and try to keep that trophy.
Dude, Tiffany, I don't know about you, but I'm pretty hyped that they won 4 times. I don't know if anybody else has done it, have they?
I don't think anybody else has done it. Phil and I talked about it at the beginning, at the starting line. And I asked him kind of what it was. And, you know, Phil, what'd you say again? It was just, you kind of have to go out there and just do it.
Yeah. I think I stuck to the exact strategy I told you, which normally I kind of make up the strategy for the interview in the beginning because I don't think anybody knows what I'm going to do.
But like for us too, not one time the whole weekend or leading up to the race, we never once talked about like, what if we could win this 4 times in a row? Like, we're just going out there to do the job and do the best we can. I mean, not one time we thought about winning the race until it was over. Like, I guess once we passed Piplick and he was broken, it looked like it was going to be a while. Then we kind of started going, hell yeah, like, we did it again, you know, not one time the whole week. Like, what if we do this 4 times? What, you know, it was just, let's get the job done and let's go win it. Like, let's do this.
I feel like that's so crazy, man, especially in well, I'm gonna say, I mean, the car is versatile, right? But it was a car that wasn't built for that. Like, you guys basically just like ran what you brung.
Yeah, I don't know if you've ever looked in the passenger seat of that car, but it's got like a small 18-gallon fuel cell that's in the dashboard of the passenger side. So Bo's legs are like so cramped in there. You know, we had to stop for fuel in that race, which I think a lot of other people didn't have to do. But it also, I don't know, that car is like perfect for that course. You know, that course was, I don't know, Bo agrees, but it's a lot like the first lap at King of the Hammers, where you're up and down these little gullies and through these little rock canyons where you got to slow down. So, I mean, it's pretty much like what we built that thing for. And that car is boat sided to go through the rocks. So the bottom of the car is like 20 inches narrower. So when you're in like all that deep 2-track stuff, nothing's grabbing the ground there.
Yeah, man, Michael Geisam, yeah, he said, how many inches of travel did that thing have? And this was one of the same questions that was asked earlier in the show as well. I think you said something about it having maybe 14 inches of travel only with basically King of the Hammer shocks on it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it shows. Maybe it doesn't matter how much travel you have, it's how good your travel is.
That's a really good point, man. So many people got taken out. Tiffany, what was one of the questions that you had for the boys that you weren't able to ask them on the broadcast?
My whole thing is, you know, like, you can always look up numbers and stats or anything, but do you guys have just an inside joke with one another to kind of like, if things are getting a little crazy? You both seem very calm and collected, but if things get a little crazy, is there something you say back and forth to one another? Be like, hey, this is this, and then you kind of like bring yourself back down or make you guys laugh or anything like that?
I don't know. We just never really get ramped up in the car at all. We just stay really even. If we make a mistake, like, we never even talk about a mistake because you can't race backwards, you know? So we just like, if I make a mistake, nobody says anything. We just go forward and we're on to the next corner from there. It's, I don't know. It's probably, everybody's like, hey, put audio in your car and a GoPro so we can hear what you guys are saying. I'm like, I think it's going to be a lot. It's not going to be as eventful as everybody thinks. It's probably going to be boring for most people to watch.
Hey,
we're like a couple of robots in there.
Ryan Piplick says, inside joke, ask Tiffany about her goat.
No, we're not going to talk about the goat. We're going to go over the goat. No. Okay, I'll just tell you guys what the whole goat joke is. I've never been to Chino before, and I saw a goat one time, and I saw the male part of a goat, and I've never seen that before, and it just came out when it was in the pen. So now we just talk about that, and they keep talking about the goat.
Oh, man.
So now everybody knows a joke about a goat.
You should have never told Piplick about that story, because he's going to hound you for the rest of your life about it.
Piplick was there when I did it, and so like if you ever see that funny joke, so anyways, that was the joke of it, because I was mortified by that.
All right, so Tiffany, I'm going to ask you this question, and I'm also going to ask the boys. We'll go around. We'll do Phil first, and then excuse me, and then Bo, and then you, Tiffany. But aside from the racing, because honestly, the racing was so intense. Like, I suggest everybody, if you can, go back and watch the broadcast or talk to these guys on Instagram or look through all of their social media, because it was one of the most intense races that I've seen in the past couple years in UTVs. And I'm still like so hyped on it. So congratulations to you guys. But the question is, what was one of the most fun or funny things that happened outside of the car this weekend? Bill, you go first.
I don't know.
We had.
That's the only thing that was weird and funny about the whole weekend was we stayed in some random dude's house we don't even know, and me and Bo had bunk beds.
Are you serious? You guys
I was
really
like, I don't think I've ever slept in a bunk bed, and I've definitely never had Bo got the top bunk, I took the bottom.
I feel like this is like I'm living through Step Brothers right now.
Yeah, that's what I kept saying. That's what I kept saying. Isn't the older guy supposed to have the bottom? You should get up top.
Dude, that's hilarious. Did they have a drum set at this house?
No drums.
Well, the weird part was they had buckets of water everywhere because it was a vacation house they go to like once a year. So in the garage, there was like buckets of water. I'm like, what is with the buckets of water? I guess they go there so little. They put water in there to keep humidity in the garage.
Oh my gosh, dude. That does sound like a pretty crazy story. So you guys just roll up, no pre-running, have a car that is potentially like not even suited for the course. You stay in bunk beds and you go out and you put the smackdown on everybody, dude. Congratulations. That's pretty awesome. Bo, was that your same favorite part of the weekend too, or it's a funny part of the weekend?
I mean, there was it's always a good time, but I would say like Phil's, brother-in-law and sister were there, and we went to their house, and his nephew's like 18 or 19, and he was racing, and he has all of his friends there, and it's like those guys, at 18 and 19, it just kind of brings you back when they're kind of being dorky in the garage, and I'm trying to show them how to change a 110 tire and stuff like that, and everyone's laughing, and I let them do it, and then they pop the tire, and it's just like,
How about the rap song?
It was fun. Yeah, they made a rap song on the way to the race, so they're just being, 18 and 19, and we get to live through that and laugh and have fun with them.
Dude, I would love to see the behind the scenes of all this stuff going down. Bo getting in the bunk bed on the top bunk, and the rap song going down. Like your social media, we got to get you a social media guy, Phil, so you can record all this stuff that's going on. That'd be so funny to see that. All right. Well, we really appreciate it. And then, Tiffany, how about you? What was something that happened at not at the track, or somebody behind the scenes that was fun for you?
So I went out on Lake Havasu. I've never really done that before, and I've never wake surfed ever in my entire life, or never done any board sports or anything like that. So pretty soon I will post a video literally of me getting up and saying, can I swear on this? Because pretty much I just said, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. And then I fell right straight into the water and my face is horrible. But that is the only funny thing that happened to me. When I'm there, it's all work. I never get to enjoy as much, or I guess I don't have bunk beds either. So, I mean, that would be fun. I would have fun at the bunk beds, but like literally it was just wake surfing and not ever having anything like that. And then honestly, one time I said, I'm an independent woman who needs help sometimes. And so that's the moral of my story. I'm a very independent woman who needs help sometimes. So that's it. But you guys seem to have more fun than I did.
I don't know, man. Like just listening to all three of you talk, like I kind of wish cameras were following you around all weekend, because it seems like a lot of fun stuff happened.
Yeah, for us, it just kind of seems normal. But when we tell our stories, everyone laughs about it and stuff. So I don't know. Maybe, Phil, we should get some cameras following us around. We might have a show.
We had a comment come in that said, bunk beds, Phil, you need to get better sponsors. Well, you guys do have some fantastic sponsors. I know that you got to thank some of them on the live broadcast, but Bo, why don't you thank a few people, and then Tiffany can, Phil, you can thank everybody, and then Tiffany will lead us out of this show.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, no matter what, we have to give it up for Can-Am. I mean, they give us such an awesome car. I mean, that car is superior. I mean, we can beat on it and stuff, and nothing. It just keeps going and going. I mean, we're literally racing that race on stock axles. Like the car, for the most part, against some of these other cars that are full chassis cars and stuff. I mean, the car is pretty much like we make it stronger and safer. Like, but for the most part, it's just all stock. And then for sure, BFG and Monster Seal and AIM and all those guys, they help us out so much. Factory UTV with the skid plates and everything, like. We couldn't do it without all these guys helping us.
Hey, so I heard a funny story about that skid plate. Did somebody forget that?
I'm not sure who forgot. I don't know. I guess if I'm prepping the car, then I guess I forgot it. But the car didn't come off jack stands until I was already gone.
So what was the story, Phil?
Oh man, we rolled into Havasu about 10 o'clock at night, the night before qualifying, and I wanted to go get some waters in the gas station. Came out in the middle, skid plate was hanging down a little bit, and I walked over, and the whole back half of the skid plate wasn't even put on the car. So I'm going, dude, where am I going to find a factory UTV skid plate at 10 o'clock at night down here? Luckily, I just built my brother-in-law a brand new Can-Am that they'd been down there pre-running in. So I called him, woke him up, went over to their house that they rented down there, and stole the back half of the skid plate off his car.
Part thief. Dude, I'm telling you, Tiffany, it's so crazy for me. I still want Phil to thank sponsors too, but Tiffany, it's so crazy for me to see how these actual races turn out with the things that happen along the way. It's just insane, right?
No, it's absolutely insane. And I have the privilege of being down in the hot pits with everybody, so I can kind of see what's going on. I still can hear everything over a race radio as well. And the amount of work and the amount of hours and the attrition that is put into something like this, I mean, props to you two for doing that. That's why I always want to know, like, how do you guys keep yourself so calm and collected? You know, how do you keep everything all together? And that's why another thing is at the end of the race, you know, usually the top finisher, I always ask them, and I'll ask you guys again, in one word, how do you sum up the entire weekend? Like, Phil, how do you sum up an entire weekend winning a 4-peat?
Yeah, I think my answer to you there was awesome, and I guess I'll get that one. So, you know, you win a race, and there's not much better feeling than that. You know, we get second place at a race, and you know, it feels good, but it just we're bummed. You know, it wasn't what we went there to do. So every time we win, it's an awesome weekend.
Yeah, you know what's funny is I've heard champions say this before, Tiffany, is that they're more afraid of not win or losing than they are of winning. So like they will do everything in their power to not get second place instead of everything in their power to win the race. Like it's just insane what drives people and what does it differently. And these guys obviously have a 4-peat, so it's pretty clear that they're pretty driven.
No, exactly. And then I always wonder too, you know, I drive my Jeep, but I'm not racing anybody. I guess I race myself to see if I can get up an obstacle or whatnot. But obviously you guys always want to be out there or always be in first. But do you enjoy chasing? Say you're in second or third. Do you enjoy chasing somebody down? Or do you always want to have that target on your back? Obviously, because clean air and everything.
Yeah, I mean, everybody, you know, some people have different strategies in qualifying. We always want to try to qualify first if we can, and we'll set the pace and lead all day. It is the race goes by a lot faster if you're not in the lead and you are chasing. When you're in the lead, you're just going, I want it to be over. I want it to be over. When you're in second, you want the race just to be longer and longer, so you got more time to catch up to first.
That's a really good point. Does it feel the same for you, Bo, when you're actually like, you know, thinking along the same lines as Phil?
Yeah, for sure. Whenever we're in the lead the whole time, just like he says, like there's been plenty of times where we're leading the entire Vegas to Reno race, and it's like it just seems like it drags on. And there's been a bunch of times, you know, I think we've won Vegas to Reno 4 times in a row, and there's been times where we're in the back, and it's like we had an issue in the beginning, and next thing you know, it's like we started first, and next thing you know, we're 53rd. And it's like there's 10 miles left to go, and we're in second, and we're going, why can't this race be another hour long, you know? And then somehow we pull it out and win the race anyways, where it's like, dude, like, how did this happen? Like, we've been in, you know, we went from 53rd all the way to second, and with 5 miles left to go, we make the pass and win the race after like 10 hours of racing and win it in the last 5 minutes. It's like, so yeah, like when you're in the lead, it does make the race drag on, but when you're chasing it goes by super fast.
And that's why I'm always so like curious about racecraft. So I'm a huge believer in like choices in life and all of these different things that can excel you in just life in general, not just racing, right? But so when you make choices, all of your guys' choices seem to be on the same page, on the level of each other going forward, and like those choices is what makes you 4-peat Vegas to Reno. It's what makes you 4-peat the UTV World Championship, because you both are making the correct choices instead of just one little idiosyncrasy pulling you off the side.
Yeah, I mean, it's just weird for both of us. I mean, it's like he'll ask me, you know, what do you think this pace is like? And I'm, you know, for the most part, I'm always like, I think it's good. Like, I wouldn't change anything. And then it's like, I can feel, you know, coming from dirt bikes and racing, you know, professional motocross, it's like, you don't have like a RPM gauge or mile an hour or anything like that telling you what to do. You just feel the bike. You feel what gear you should be in. You feel how hard you're being on everything. And it's like, we pretty much are in the car and you're driving by the feel of your butt. And I can feel him. I can feel him when he picks it up a little bit without even hearing, you know, you just hear the engine, the tone is a little bit different. And we're talking like maybe splits of seconds where I can feel that he's picked it up, and I'll let him know, like, hey, I'm good with whatever. I'll go down with the sinking ship, but I think you're pushing a little bit harder, and then I instantly feel the tone of the engine come down a little bit. Like he respects what I'm telling him, and we respect each other in our driving. And next thing you know, it's just led us to all kinds of championships and race wins.
It's pretty cool. And Phil, when you're hearing that come from Bo, does that mean that I don't know how to say this properly, but does that mean that you back it down, like, because you're doing it with your feet and your hands, right? But like you don't back it down like 1%. You're just like, all right, I know how the car feels, I know what he's saying, and then you back it down right to where you know the car can take it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm typically already kind of thinking what he's thinking, but I'm just kind of going, oh, maybe, But I mean, I'd say like 99% of the time we're on the exact same page, and the 1% we might be off a little bit. We just kind of meet in the middle on our pace,
It's pretty cool, man. All right, well, we're going to let you guys go. I know you guys both got to get back to working on the cars and with your family and stuff like that. You guys did an awesome job this past weekend. Is there a question that you didn't get to ask them this weekend, Tiffany, that you'd like to ask them now?
No, I think I nailed all the questions. Like I said, it's always a pleasure to talk to you guys, and especially in the beginning, having the Pete, you did exactly what you said you wanted to do. You summed up the entire weekend in a great race. So I just appreciate you guys taking the time and obviously answering those tough questions that people want to know. Like I always say, we can look up stats, we can look up numbers, but we want to get to know you guys. So thank you so much for doing that.
Yep, no problem.
I couldn't agree more. Phil, thank your sponsors real quick. I forgot to let you do that.
I think Bo did pretty good there, but Can-Am, Monster Energy, BF Goodrich, Vision Race Wheels, Union Graphic, my shop, No Limit, Bo Shop, SPC, does all the powder coating for me, Monster Seal, Factory UTV, Sparco, RV Travel World. We got a cool new sponsor this year. It's actually like a big RV sales shop by us, and he's been supplying us with trailers for all the races.
And when you don't have a trailer, you get bunk beds.
No, it's cool, man. He just lets us go there, and we pick one out and use it for the year, and they maintain it for us, and we bring it back at the end of the year.
How sick is that? What's the name of that company again?
RV Travel World.
Right on. Well, like I said, thank you guys very much. Really appreciate it. You guys did a fantastic job this weekend. Congratulations on 4, man. 4. That's so sick. Tiffany, stay on with me real quick.
Will do.
All right. You guys know how to log off? You guys good to go?
I think so.
All right. I'm going to ask Tiffany some questions here, so you guys can just hit that X and log off. But I appreciate you guys taking the time. Thanks, Bo. Thanks, Phil.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bye, guys.
All right, Tiffany. So first of all, I wanted to say thank you guys very much for welcoming me onto the production crew for the weekend. It was really cool to be a part of that. I learned so much. It was really, really neat to see how hard you guys work. And I wanted to commend you because of the job that you do is not an easy job, man. You have so much going on, and there's so many things that people don't see behind the scenes. Like, I had no idea personally, and now I got to see it firsthand. So kudos to you.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I always try to tell everybody it's an awesome job. It's a great job, but it's also a hard job because in one ear you have production going on, then you have the racing or the race radio and all timing and scoring as well. Plus you also have everything else. Oh, I guess Phil's phone died. And that's another thing.
Yeah.
Like when you're out there, your phone dies and you can't be able to talk to somebody, but it's so much more. It's because you have to have this good rapport with the chase team or the teams that they're all working with. And you got to be able to talk to them and find out what's going, because you and Matt, you guys are in studio about 5-10 minutes away, where I'm the only one that's down there in the hot pit. So I'm like, hey, if anything's going on, let me know what's happening right then and there. So I could be able to relay that because, I'm the eyes and the ears that are on the ground. And I'm going to be mad about you with this, but you guys got to sit in air conditioning and no wind and no dust. And I'm out there with all of that, just trying to keep it all together.
Dude, that's what I'm saying, though, is that you were doing a fantastic job. And I was telling the production crew and Matt, like I was saying, we need to go to Tiffany more often. Like, it was cool to see the way that you were covering the races and stuff. So, like I said, kudos to you, and thank you very much for welcoming me to be a part of the crew with you guys. So I look forward to working with you in the future. But same question I asked those guys before. If you had to choose one part of your weekend that was the favorite, it could even be at the races talking to people, because mine was seeing how stoked everybody was. The level of positivity, even though those dudes' cars were all fucked up, they were just still amped. And like James Hill said when you interviewed him, grateful.
Yeah, grateful. And the thing is my thing that I always enjoy is watching the 170s, the 250s, the 570s, the 1000, because those youngins are the new generation that's coming up. And like the coolest thing about that is they have so much sportsmanship for one another. You know, they'll go out and battle and do all these crazy things, like especially like the 170s. And then later on, they'll go play RC cars, you know, around their RVs, and they're the best of friends. And like, nice job. Good job, guys. You know, doing this. And it's really cool. And I like the fact that Polaris is coming out with that new 200. You know, it's a little bit more horsepower. It gives everybody a chance to do something. And honestly, I said it before, I enjoyed the poker run. I took a Pro XP out there. It was a 4-seater. I've never done that before. Driven in the desert, sure, with my Jeep that has a straight axle and 3.5-inch lift on 37. This is a stock Pro XP with these, and I'm not used to when the travel and the suspension changes, you know, like, and I guess, and I crushed a rock and I hit some G outs, and it was fun though. I drove 50 miles in the desert, and I can understand why people love to do this and why the sport is growing so much, because it is a thrill. It is an excitement. It is something really, really cool to be able to do.
Yeah, one of these days we're going to have to put you in a passenger seat, at least to go fast on a pre-run or something, so you can have some fun. It'll be cool to get you out there a little bit more.
Yeah, and I did that one time. So the Serapis brothers took me out when they were pre-running King of the Hammers in one of their buggies, and we went and did some desert stuff out there. But you're absolutely right. I mean, who's to say that I wouldn't want to get into that? You know, especially when you drive a Jeep, the fear factor is there. You know, you have off-camera moments. Obviously, we're not going as fast in the desert, but we do have those moments. And when I got to do the little rock section in the Razor or whatnot, I'm like, this is so much like a Jeep, but just more, not nimble, but just obviously smaller. But you can be able to hit those corners. Yeah, it's so cool, though. And I don't know. I liked it, but I can see why everybody loves it. Like I said, why the sport is growing so much.
I hear you 100%. All right. Well, what's the next on the plate for you guys?
Doing a bunch of stuff here, creating some content for Rigid Industries and whatnot. And then Off-Road Motorsports Hall of Fame, doing a T-Stone takeover there. And then obviously SEMA. And then I do stuff for Dirtfish and Stage Rally. So heading to that. And then obviously the 1000 in a little bit.
Well, hopefully you can get some sleep too.
I'm trying to. Tomorrow I can sleep in again.
All right. Well, thanks for taking the time with us today. We really appreciate it. It was awesome to see you this weekend. And again, thank you very much for everything that you do for the broadcast teams.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. Enjoy.
All
and
right, Tiff,
you know what? You're definitely T-Stone approved.
All right. Thanks, Tiff.
Bye.
Appreciate it. We'll see you later.
Bye.
All right, guys. So we're going to wind down the show a little bit here. I'm going to thank the sponsors. You guys can pay attention to Scully over here. Like I said before at the beginning of the show, we want to welcome Evo Power Sports to the show. They're going to be a sponsor. We're going to put them in rotation, get some commercials from them. Hopefully we can get some discount codes and stuff. So welcome Evolution Power Sports. Please support the guys that support us. Thank you to the guys over at Motul. Please go check out all the products that they have. If you're going to change your oil before you go to the dunes, please use some Motul products. Go down to the local dealership and buy them. Yeah, I'm sorry, Melanie. We had so many questions coming in. We got as many in as we could. I'm sorry that we couldn't answer more. If you want, you can totally ask 20 questions and we'll get to one of them. So, thank you guys over at KMC Wheels, those guys, and EFX Tires. Those guys over there are amazing. Please go check out the products that they have. If you're on our live feed where you can see the Facebook or YouTube, you can see this wheel over here. It's a grenade wheel. It's awesome wheel. Thank you guys over at Shock Therapy. Justin joined us tonight as well. You can use code DIRTLIFE at shocktherapyusa.com. Save a whole bunch of money on any of their products, hard parts, or suspension upgrades. Thank you guys over at Zollinger Racing Products. You can use the code TheDirtLife at ZollingerRacingProducts.com. And get yourself some of their amazing products. Thank you guys over at Cryo Heat. Like I said, Josh has been traveling the country, going all these races, so please support them. They can make a lot more horsepower out of any of your side-by-sides. So give Josh and the guys over at Cryo Heat a call. And thank you to the guys over at Solderweld. You can use code DIRTLIFE at solderweld.com and pick up an off-road repair kit and save your race or save your ride. And, man, we really appreciate everybody. We don't have anybody to do rapid-fire Q&A questions except for Scully, and I don't think he's going to be very talkative tonight. So we will see you guys next week or maybe even on Thursday. So thank you guys for joining us. We love you. Good night.
Thanks for listening to The Dirt Life Show.